Yeah, sunshine law protects you.
What's that?
Protects you
Feel
from
like I'm
sunshine law violations.
a hamster or something.
Yeah.
So did you find a place to park this morning?
No, I had to hunt and hunt.
Man, I'll tell you,
I missed every stoplight on the way.
they got a barricade across here between the buildings now, so you can't park. Yeah, I think
No,
so.
we're just waiting on Mr.
Back.
Is he? He is back. That was quick. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Code Board meeting of December 2nd. We're glad that you're here. We've got quite an agenda today. We'll try to get through it pretty quickly. And we hope that if everybody would join me right now in the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
For all.
Could we have the roll call, please, of the board members?
Good morning, Mrs. Monahan,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Fogg,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Murdoch,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Spataro,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Pancoast,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Waters.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we could have approval of the minutes of the last meeting, please.
We don't have any.
We don't have any minutes? Yes, we do. Oh, you didn't have any minutes.
Yeah,
Need a motion to accept?
I don't have any minutes.
There's no printed
There's
minutes.
no minutes.
Yeah.
There is no
There's
minutes?
none.
Okay.
There's none. There's none.
Okay, could we have swearing in of the staff members, please?
State your name for the record.
Mike Sissio. Harvey.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Everybody's on board here this morning. That's good. With the new protectors we have between us, this is exciting. We can't talk between each other now. Anyway, moving right along. At this time, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, public comment is, in most meetings, is available as long as it has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. If there's anybody out there that has any public comments they'd like to make, this would be the time. If not, we'll just go forward. And by the way, if you didn't realize this, we have 23 days left till Christmas. I just thought I'd throw that in case you was wondering about your shopping and such as that. Anyway, moving right along with that, we need a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented by staff.
Yes, ma'am.
There's none. There's
There
none.
is no consent agenda.
No.
Well, you guys did good last time. Okay. So then we'll move right along, go into the violation hearings. And we will start with, let's see, number one here. Okay, case number 99782, 7653 Pelican Point Drive, Jensen Beach, Florida, Pelican Point West HOA Incorporated. Good morning. Okay, would you please state your name, address, and if you're both going to speak, you will each do that, and then you'll be sworn in.
Dana Small, DLS Environmental Services, 1901 Southwest Yellowtail Avenue, Port St. Lucie.
Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Are you going to speak?
I think she can handle it. You want me to swear in just in case?
Yes.
Okay. Lisa Kusin, 4196 Northeast Highline Drive, Jensen Beach, Florida.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay, if you just bear with us, we're going to hear from Mr. Sissio, and when we get done there, we'll speak to you folks, okay? Good morning, sir. Nice
Good
to
morning,
see
sir.
you.
Nice to see you as well. For the record, I'm submitting a total of 8 photos, one dated November 8th, 2019, 4 dated November 12th, 2019, 2 from Google Earth, 1 aerial image from 2017, and 1 aerial image from 2019, and 1 dated November 23rd, 2020, showing that the violation still exists. This case was presented before the March 4th, 2020 Code Enforcement Board, in which the board decided to continue the case until the December 2nd Code Enforcement Board. On November 8th, 2019, I received a complaint from the Planning Department of a possible unpermitted pier at the Pelican Point subdivision located on the South Hutchinson Island. The site visit was conducted, and I found that the finger piers were 12 feet longer than originally permitted for. I also found that the original pier under permit number 24011647 was voided, leaving the entire structure unpermitted. I found 7653 Pelican Point Drive to be in violation of section 110501, building without a permit, unpermitted pier, and unpermitted finger pier extensions. Summerlin's Marine Construction applied for the permit 1912-0433 to construct a 6-foot by 400-foot access with 8-foot by 118-foot terminal platform with 5 finger piers, which was final inspected on January 15th, 2020 by staff. On November 30th, 2020, permit number 20110677 for finger pier extensions was applied for by Sampson Marine Construction LLC and is currently pending. The property remains in violation.
Okay, very good. I have a question for you before I ask the ladies, and you said the first permit was done away with?
It was voided, yes, sir.
Boy, it was voided?
Yes.
Okay, because of forgetting the next permit, correct?
It was voided many years ago, so the structure stayed technically unpermitted until this year.
Okay, and how long has this been there?
I believe since the subdivision started, which was back in,
2000.
yeah, I was going to say it's been about that long.
Okay, all right, thanks. Thank you, Mike, appreciate it. Okay, ladies, it's your turn. Tell us, help us out here. Where are we at permitting?
Well, like he indicated, we have submitted an application to the building department for an after-the-fact permit for the finger piers, as requested. It is currently under their review, and while it's in their review process, I think we kind of let them say what kind of time extension we should ask for.
Okay.
30 days would be fine, but if they think, you know,
How long ago did you do this?
well, it only got logged into their system yesterday. Well, it didn't get logged in because of some missing information when it was submitted, but it was logged into their system yesterday.
Okay, very good. All right. Yeah. Mr. Harvey, can you help us out on this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, the permit has been submitted to us. It is in the queue. It has not been reviewed yet. Knowing the efficiency that Dana Small operates at, and having taken a real quick review of the permit application during a phone conversation with her yesterday, it appears that all of the information that we need is included in the package, and I don't believe there's going to be an issue in getting the permit issued. It's just a matter of the timing. We are very busy in plan review right now, and plans are taking about a week to get reviewed. So by the time we review the plans, issue the permit, perform the inspection, I believe that we should be able to complete that in 30 days.
30 days, would that be enough? Should we go to 60, or do you think?
I would appreciate if you could go 60. We're in that time of year, and we're a little bit shorthanded right now.
Does anybody on the board have any questions on this?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to postpone this hearing until the April 7th meeting.
I second.
Okay, there is a motion and a second to be removed to April 7th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign? Okay, it's till April 7th.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's 2021, I believe. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, very good. Okay, case number 2, case number 99861 has been abated. We are on number 3, case number 98007, 5151 Happiness Street, Fort Pierce, Florida. Susan K. Devereaux.
Devereaux.
Devereaux. Ms. Devereaux, are you here? Okay, going right along. And we're going to 4. Case number 10752 has been abated. We're on number 5. Case number 10846, 3518 Roslyn Boulevard, Fort Pierce, Florida. Emmanuel C. Barbosa Sr. Good morning, sir. Nice to see you. On this particular case, the second section of this has been removed, abated. Yes, sir, please state your name and address.
Manuel Barbosa, 3518 Roselawn Boulevard.
Okay, sir, would you please raise your right hand and be sworn in?
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, we're going to hear from Matthew, and then we'll be with you, all right? We'll be right with you. Yes, sir, good morning to you.
Harry. For the record, I am resubmitting 2 photos, 2 dated March 16th, 2020, and I'm also submitting 8 photos, 5 dated November 23rd, 2020, 3 photos dated on November 30th, 2020. This case was brought before the Code Board hearing on October 7th, 2020, and was continued to today's hearing. During my inspection, I found the property located at 3518 Roselawn to be in violation of Section 3826, Abandoned Property, Junk, Trash, and Debris. I issued a notice of violation letter on March 16th, 2020, and gave a compliance date of March 30th, 2020. The property still remains in violation. After getting non-compliance on August 31st, 2020, a certified notice to appear for the October 7th, 2020 Code Board hearing meeting was issued. As of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation, and I have had contact with the property owner.
Oh, you have talked to him?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right. Yes, sir, can you help us out here?
Yes.
What are you doing? What about this?
Well, first of all, it was all the water, and then second of all, my legs. So I slowed up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I got it pretty well in hand.
Okay, but evidently it's not completely done, and I think this happened, we've been going on since March with this, is that correct?
Since when, sir?
Was that?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, March. I think we've been going with this, trying to work with you since March on this.
I haven't signed that. It's 3 months now.
3 months? Okay. All right, so we'll go with 3 months, but it's been,
Yeah, it's 3 months that I got the notice, and then you gave me a 2-month extension. But
okay.
it was all that water and,
Understand. But now we come to the time where something has to be done with it, so is it a 30-day time frame?
I got a little bit to go.
I did see him yesterday. He was Monday. He was working enormously on it. He did remove a lot of the material. He just has to remove the rest of it, as well as the outside storage that remains on the open trailer, which we spoke about before the hearing.
Okay,
So he's pretty much just asking for a little bit more time.
30
that's up to
days?
you guys. If that's, yep.
You know, if we gave you a 2-month extension on it already, and I understand, and we've had a lot of water, we understand that also, but we just have to have a date, kind of a date certain is when you're going to have this done.
Will I have it done?
Yeah, within 30 days?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, all right, very good. I think any of the board members have a question? If not, we're looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to continue this case until the February 3rd meeting.
So you want to extend it rather than have a date certain?
Yeah, he's going to have this thing cleaned up, so.
Okay, and the date again was what?
February 3rd,
February 3rd. That's 2021?
2021, correct?
Okay.
Second.
Second by Ms. Monahan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, sir, you have the holidays are here. We realize that. We realize it's wet, but you got to have it done by the 1st of February. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much for coming. Okay, number 6, case number 100-149, 3250 St. Lucie Boulevard, Fort Pierce, Florida. STB Runway End LLC.
And this is, hello, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
There is a companion case to this, and this is the lady who is on Zoom as well. So she's not physically present, but she is available that IT will bring her up.
Okay, very
So
good.
she is here. Mrs. Wilson, the companion case for this is
103202.
see, for this one, outside storage, and this is actually, companion case is located on the top of page 9. It's 100-180 is the companion case for Wilson Custom Composites LLC.
Wait a minute, hold on here a minute.
Are we, yeah.
We're with
So we
STB,
are-
we're with STB Runways LLC, right?
Correct, that is the landowner, and this is a companion case. The tenant is located, I apologize, they're separated, but is located on page 9. It will be identical violations, and Ms. Wilson is present to, I guess, attest
Okay.
to both, you know, as the
Yeah,
tenant
and I
of the
understand what you're
property.
saying, so, but if you go to page 5, case number 100-149, which is the beginning, and then
That's-
you have a companion case below that. Oh, that's
It-
3200.
Yes, I
Next.
apologize. There will be 6 correlating cases. It's one large property that has 2 separated buildings, 2 separate tenants, and we've cited both tenant and property
Okay,
owner
so this
for
one
multiple.
doesn't go with this.
Right,
okay,
this does not go with
okay.
the direct below.
So we're going to page 9, and it is going
Yes.
to be
100-180. I apologize for the
100-180,
confusion.
which was the companion, and that is Wilson Customs Composite LLC,
Yes.
3250.
So the photos and information will be identical from case 100-149 for 3250 St. Lucie Boulevard
Right.
as the property owner, STB Runways and LLC, along with that case on page 9,
Wilson.
100-180 for
Okay.
3250 Wilson Custom Composites. And as you see,
Okay.
Ms. Wilson
Good
is
morning,
present
ma'am.
there.
How are you, Miss Wilson?
Do we have anyone here from STB Runways, the owner?
I do not believe
No.
so at this
So
point.
wouldn't this just go into default?
I mean, that's up
just
to
a
you.
moment,
I
ma'am.
believe she
Just a
may
moment.
want to represent both, but Ms. Wilson can obviously speak to that.
Okay,
Okay.
and,
We need to swear her in.
and
you
well, that's
know,
what I
just
wanted
like
to
normal.
do, and it, in the beginning is, we have voice on this? Well, we have voice, we have vocal?
Yes.
Yes, Miss Wilson?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Would you please state your name and address?
Jessica Valdez Wilson, 5935 Southwest, Bald Eagle Drive, Palm City, Florida, 34990.
Okay, very good. So,
Could you ask her to repeat the address? I didn't get it.
Yes. 5935 Southwest, Bald Eagle Drive in Palm City, Florida,
Okay. And what's the zip code?
34990.
Thank you.
raise your right hand, please.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you bear with us, we're gonna go ahead here for Mr. Francisco, and then we'll talk to you, okay?
Okay. So.
Yes,
for-
ma'am.
So for the record, I'm going to start with case 100-149, but again, all the information is identical for both.
Okay.
So they will be practically read in the same manner. For the record, I am submitting a total of 10 photos. 3 are dated December 19th, 2019, in which, I'll wait for it to populate so I can tell you what you're seeing. Where you see the outside storage of boat materials, building materials. There are 4 dated January 24th, 2020, also showing, again, the outside storage of items in designated parking areas, which is not allowed nor on their site plan nor a designated area. And 3 dated December 1st, 2020, where you still see those remaining items along with cargo containers. Ms. Wilson has indicated that those are not hers. However, the placement of them, you know, there's that dispute because, again,
Right.
it's a large parcel and it may be the other tenant stuff, but being that neither have claimed it, we have to kind of keep it on because we don't know whose they are. As far
Okay.
as just the cargo containers.
Okay.
The other items, the boat items are specific, obviously, to Wilson Custom
Okay, and this is
Composites.
about the boat items is what we're speaking of.
Well, the boat and the cargo containers, both are active violations for Ms. Wilson along with STB
Okay.
Runways on this case.
Okay,
So I found 3250 St. Lucie Boulevard to be in violation of section 3826 for the outside storage of the boat items, and 110501, the cargo containers on site without permits. I issued a notice of violation letter on December 30th, 2019, and gave a compliance date of January 17th, 2020. The property owner, STB Runways LLC, and the representative of Wilson Custom Composites, the tenant of 3250 St. Lucie Boulevard, have been in contact with staff and advised how to remedy these violations. As of December 1st, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Okay, very good. So going forward, and these are individual tenants in this building, so that's why you're having such a,
There's two large buildings on the entire property. It's one parcel, so that's why we had to kind of designate them because, as you will see in the next case, if we present it, that they, they're separate. One is a brewery, one's a boat place, so we can
Okay.
kind of identify
Okay.
the different
All right.
items. But again, the cargo containers,
okay.
we don't know whose they are, and they
Okay.
remain on the site. So
All right, Ms. Wilson, can you tell us where we're going from here?
Yes. So first of all, we did not receive the service from the December 31st notice that was sent out. Apparently, our next door neighbors, which is Isla Mirada Beer Company, they signed for the certified mail and they never actually brought it over to us. So we only became aware of this issue after the August letter that was sent out, August 10th, which they again signed for it, but they brought a copy of it over to us probably the week after. It was dated August 10th, so it was probably sometime after that we received the letter personally. And then obviously once, okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm currently in quarantine and I have my kids home and doing virtual, so I'm trying to
You're doing
manage
good.
all of this
You're
right
doing
now.
good.
So I spoke with Isla Mirada Beer Company last night, along with, they also own STB Runways. So they are, both of the owners, Tyrone and Nick, are out of town. They were under the understanding that, because I believe they were cited on some other things as well. So they said their hearing wasn't until December 16th, at which time they thought that these things would be addressed. So that is why they're not present today. Nick did send an email last night, which I can share on here, I believe. Let me see, open share. Here. Opening system. I don't know if it's showing.
It's not really, can you read it?
Okay. I can read it to you. It says, I'm writing this on the eve of the hearing for Wilson Marine is what he wrote. As this is the first I am hearing about them being blamed for the code issues we were cited with, including the Connex containers we are using for storage. The Connex containers are ours, and we're trying to find a solution for storage that doesn't involve asking Wilson Marine to vacate their space so we can use their space for the dead storage that is currently in the containers. A financially disastrous option, but one your code encourages. Please let this serve as notice. These are our containers and Wilson should not be blamed for them. Thanks. I sent through yesterday some pictures of the items that are not ours. I received an email later on in the day with some pictures. So there's 3 items that are outside that do belong to us. They are currently on trailers. One has a hitch that is broken, and we've been trying to replace it this year, but due to COVID, the repair part that we need, it has been on back order, so we have not been able to get that to be able to move it. And then one of the other items that's out there as well, we have, which my understanding was those were parking spots and that as long as they were on trailers, we were fine. So I felt like we had already gotten ourselves into compliance because we had already gotten rid of a lot of the trash and things like that were out there. Some of the pictures that were provided today were during normal business hours. So it was a matter of like things were being moved in and out. And as you can see, like there's vehicles and stuff. So I can't go back in time and tell you exactly what was happening and why certain things were out there at that exact moment in time. But I can tell you as of right now, we feel that we've done our part with the things that are ours. Like I said, there's 3 items out there. They're all on trailers. One which is, I don't have,
Well,
they
that's,
sent
yes.
one in a picture last night. That is the one that has a trailer that's the hitch that's broken that we're getting the part for. And then the other one belongs to a customer of ours who, because of COVID, they're English and they've been stuck in England and unable to get here to pick it up and take it to their facility. So that is kind of where we stand. And again, I thought we were in compliance because they were on trailers and in what would be parking spots there along that backside.
Okay,
and it's
Ms.
not
Wilson,
impeding
and-
on any traffic.
All right, excuse me for, I'm not trying to interrupt in what you're doing and all that, but we're here as a board to know, and we're appreciative of you talking to us today. We also realize, though, that there is the violation. It was supposed to, way back starting in 2019, if I understand that, and it's just been going on and on and on, and so many different things, and the COVIDs, and the wet weather, and this, and that, and the other thing. But the final thing is, when will it be taken care of?
Mr. Chairman, before we continue on, I have a quick question.
Yeah, maybe I can get an answer from her on this, and then I'll go to you.
Okay.
So do you have an answer for that, Ms. Wilson? Do you have an answer for the question what I just spoke to you about?
Well, I feel like we need to distinguish what is ours so that our violation or the pictures that are, representative of like our situation are current. Because at this point, a lot of the things that are shown in those pictures are items that do not belong to us. They belong to they belong to Isla Morada Beer Company, which also owns ST Runways.
All right, we have another question to you from, yes, sir, Mr. Murdoch?
She has provided evidence, and I'm referring to the case of 100180 on page 9. The first part of that is about storage containers, and she's just proven or provided
Mr.
testimony
Chairman,
and proof that
Yes.
that's
Assistant County Attorney Catherine Barbieri.
Yes, Ms. Catherine, please.
We had nothing before on that. We are willing to remove that now, that Island Morada has sent an email saying it's there, so we removed that section.
Okay, so that's
So we
section.
can
That's
remove
the
that.
first section.
Yes.
And
We
it-
did not have that information previously.
Okay, very good. All right.
And it's going to be removed on both cases. Well, I guess actually we'll keep it on for STB Runways.
Yeah.
They own the
Since they do own the
Yeah.
property. So it will only be removed on case 100-180, specific to Wilson Custom, which is on page 9.
Okay, all right.
That
very-
one section. So
Okay.
the outside storage, we still, as of yesterday, and our photos that are presented here today are what we have.
Still in
based-
violation.
That's what we have as of yesterday.
All right. So, Ms. Wilson, what we're trying to do here is just distinguish, what the time frame is going to take you to take care of that. I mean, it could go on and on and on. Well, it's been going on for over a year. And so today, we just need to make a final of when you're going to have it done.
Of course. And like I mentioned before, we did not know that this was even an issue back in December of last year because we did not receive that notice. It was apparently received on Isla Morada's side because once
Okay.
we ended up getting that second notice in August, Tyrone informed us, "Oh, we must have signed for you last time, so I forgot and I didn't provide it to you." So we only became aware of this stuff in August, and since then have made every effort to, become in compliance. We are also in the process of moving out of our building as well. So if we could just continue this to February, I expect us to be completely done and out of that location.
Okay, so within a 60-day time frame is what you're saying, you'll have it handled, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Does the board have any questions? If not, we're looking for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion we postpone this hearing until March 3rd meeting.
Mr. Chairman, just
no.
to get clarification, which case is he wanting
yeah,
to
well-
postpone? Because we have read into the record for both.
Yes.
100-180 being Ms.
Absolutely.
Wilson here, and then 100149, which is STB, who, is not present at this time
Okay, Mr. Chairman,
let me back up with my motion, and because I had questions also. We're talking with Ms. Wilson right now, that is a tenant.
Correct.
And I was going to, prior to making this motion, when she said she was going to be out, it would be a moot point to have this conversation. I was going to have the discussion about why aren't we here talking with the owner of the property versus the tenant, because we wouldn't have, this is my stuff, your stuff, we don't know whose stuff this is. We don't have that argument anymore. If we're talking to the owner of the property, they got to clean it up, and all fines could be assessed with them at that point. So,
I mean, we have brought them to you. We obviously can't control whether they chose not to show up today.
Oh, agreed. Okay.
So that we have Ms. Wilson, she is present, and I believe in partial representing, STB as their identical companion cases in that matter. But I mean, it's inevitably how you choose to rule.
So
I'm sorry.
If I finish, so for clarification, and if my motion pertains to only the case as the case number 100149 as a standalone right now, postpone that until the.
That would be for the landowner who is not present. The case, what I believe you meant is 100-180, which is Ms. Wilson, the tenant who is present.
Okay, well, I would be willing to make a motion for that. This problem would go away, and we can have the other conversation if that helps speed things along.
Okay, so you're talking about 100-180, is that right, Mr. Waters?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, if that be the case, I second that.
Okay, and that's going to be 60 days, correct?
It's March
3rd.
March
3rd.
March 3rd.
March 3rd.
Is what, didn't you say March 3rd?
March 3rd, yeah, and it should be plenty of time. I would go beyond the time that was asked for.
Okay.
The problem would take care of itself.
Okay, we have a
We'll give
motion
more
and a
than was
second.
asked for.
We have a motion and a second by Mr. Murdock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, now we're going back, Ms. Wilson.
Thank you very much,
we've
she's done.
Done that for you. Now we're going back to 100-149, is that correct?
Now, I have a question here.
But wait, isn't Ms. Wilson done?
Yeah,
Yes, Ms. Wilson is done.
Yeah,
That
Ms.
is the only
Wilson-
case she is specifically tied to as the tenant in this.
That was
I
my-
mean, whether she makes any choice to represent STB or Isla Mirada, I mean, that's between her and
Yeah.
them in that manner, but I don't know if that's what she chooses
So-
to do.
Are you willing to do, are you doing that, Ms. Wilson? Or you're just taking your case and moving on?
I just wanted to be here to represent us because we've not wanted to, be in the wrong on this entire thing. It appeared last night in the conversation with the owners of STB that, which are the owners of the property, that they were both out of town, and it was their understanding that all of their violations, including this stuff, wasn't until December 16th. But I'm not them, so that's just what I have in a text message that they sent, that their hearings were for December 16th. So I cannot vouch for, other than they said they're out of town right now.
Okay, they're out of town right now, but this continues on.
The way I look at this, we're done with her.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ms.
Okay.
Wilson,
Thank
thank
you
you very
very
much
much.
for your hearing, and we'll go forward with this, okay?
Thank you.
All right,
Ms.
thank you very much. Okay, now we're going along with case number 100-149, STB Runways in LLC.
So that'd be in default, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Since they're not here.
yeah. So they're not available, so that would be under default. Okay, that
Does
takes
that
care.
also mean case number 7 will be in default?
Excuse me?
The next case, number 7?
The next 5 cases will be.
The next
they're-
5
they're
cases.
violated.
The next
So
5
they're not
cases?
here?
Yes.
Okay,
You
so-
just read them in
okay.
as you want to.
Okay.
But they're all the
Case
tenant
number
and those.
103202, which is 3200 STB Runways, and,
Again, not tied at all to Ms. Wilson, so this would be the property owner.
And
of
there's
this-
no one here
Right.
today representing STB Runways. Okay.
and 1000, case number 1064, 3200 Samsonville, and then 100-147.
Mr. Chairman?
Chairman, read the names on each
Okay.
case, please.
Yes, sir, I will. Let me go back here. 100-149 was STB Runways and LLC at 3250 St. Lucie Boulevard. Number 8, case number 1064, 3200 St. Lucie Boulevard, STB Runways and LLC. Number 9, case number 100-147, 3200 St. Lucie Boulevard, Islamorada Beer Company, LLC.
Are they, wait a minute, is Islamorada, anyone here from Islamorada?
They're the same.
They're
STD
the
owns
same. Number,
Islamorada.
number
Okay.
10, case number 103206, 3200 St. Lucie Boulevard, Fort Pierce, Islamorada Beer Company there. And then that's the end of those cases, correct?
Correct.
Okay, very
thank you.
good.
I know, it was a
And,
lot, sorry.
They're not here, so that they're in, so if you, when you read those off, dear, if you will.
I got it.
Okay, no show. Okay, we're on number 11, case number 100-180, oh, that was Mrs.
Yeah, we
Wilson,
just
That
that's
we
done.
continued to March, correct? Yes.
Yeah, so we got that done.
Yep.
Okay, moving right along, we're gonna go to 12, case number 103437 has been abated. We're on number 13, case number 10347, 119 Vindale Avenue, Randy Keaton Trust, Abby Arsell Esquire.
Just come on up. Come on up.
Come on up. Please state your name and address.
My name is Cody Raymond Jenkins, care of 606 South Fifth Street, unit number 4, office for Mr. Randy Keaton.
Okay, would you please raise your right hand and be sworn in?
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna, yes, ma'am.
For the record, I am submitting a total of 2 photos, one dated August 26, 2020, where you see a mobile home on this property, and one dated November 30th, 2020, where the same mobile home is still on the property. I found 119 Vindale Avenue to be in violation of 110501. A permit is required for the mobile home on the property. I issued a notice of violation letter on August 26, 2020, and gave a compliance date of September 11, 2020. I have had contact with the owner, Mr. Keaton, and most recently just spoke with his property manager, Cody Jenkins, regarding how to remedy the violation. Mr. Jenkins is here, or will be present, to ask for additional time. As of December 2nd, the property remains in violation as there is no permit on file for the mobile home on site.
Okay. Yes, sir. Please
Thank
tell
you,
us,
guys.
talk to us.
So the property located at 119 Vindale was purchased from Spanish Lakes. When we purchased the mobile home, the company that we used to move the mobile home from one location to another did tell us that they would be taking care of all the permitting and stuff. When we found out that he was not, we reached out to him and asked him several times to cure the violations. I have copies of those correspondence present with me today in my phone. I'm happy to forward them over if necessary. But the quickest resolve in this matter, Mr. Keaton unfortunately has COVID-19 and as such is under quarantine at his house receiving treatment through a doctor at the Martin Healthcare System. So I also have supporting documentation of that available with me as well. In his absence, I have been pretty limited as to what I can do, only operating as his property manager. So I'm happy to work with Ms. Dana here to try and get this resolved as quickly as possible. We would ask that the board waive the $200 cost of prosecution and provide us 60 additional days just to get this resolved. Another issue that we have is having transferred all of these properties from another trust, the mailing address for Miss Abby R. Salt, who is our attorney, she hasn't forwarded over to us a copy of these violations when we originally get them, so that puts me 30 to 45 days behind when I receive notice of violations. But now, again, I'm in contact with Miss Dana. She has my cell phone number and my email address and every way to get in contact with me. She hadn't been able to reach Mr. Keaton in probably the last 60 days, so unfortunately, I haven't been able to, come up with any resolve at this point. But I would just submit that we would be requesting an additional 60 days and to waive the cost of prosecution at this point.
I got a question.
Sir.
You said this has been going on since August, is that correct? No, this has been going on since
Yes, August.
August?
August would have been
Of 2020.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's been going on since August of 2020. From August to now is quite a while.
Yes, sir.
When you said you've been doing conversation back and forth with the people that moved the trailer. What dates were there?
Bear with me here. For the record, it's Anchor Down Mobile Homes as well that we're referring to here. Point of contact, his name is Ronnie. I've spoken with Ronnie September 17th, August 24th, August 30th, September 4th, September 21st, November 25th, and yesterday.
Okay, it appears like from the information that you just gave us, that we here at the board are hearing this, saying that evidently this man is not as interested in helping you out as if you've made all these different phone calls to him, and then you're here asking for more time. And I think we're just looking for a date certain when this can be handled, and you can just put it off and put it off and put it off. I don't think, that's not why we're here. We're here to say there is a violation and needs to be handled. And if you got a guy that's not answering you and giving you, good information,
Absolutely.
where are you at? Honestly, where are you at as a businessman? Where are you at?
To be very honest with you, this is something I feel like I can resolve myself with my power of attorney on behalf of Mr. Keaton, with all the permitting and stuff. Within like I said, the next 60 days, I would be able to 100% have it resolved.
Okay, so if we did 60 days time certain, if we did 60 days, you'd have it handled?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a
Board?
motion.
Yes.
With Mr. Harvey about that.
Mr. Harvey?
I apologize, I missed the question.
Oh,
With what he wants to do, is 60 days doable?
Oh, absolutely.
okay.
In my opinion, it could have been done by now.
Right, that's what I'm saying, why he's just, putting off and off. And
Sir,
we're
it
not-
should just be a matter of, obviously, we were supposed to get all the permitting and stuff done prior to the move, which is what I was hoping that Ronnie at Anchor Down would have taken care of for us. But now that we need to do it post-move, obviously, it's something that I just need to be more personally involved with at this point because he's not going to.
Yeah, we're not, we don't want you to, we're not trying to find anybody, and we don't want you to have to come up here to this.
Mr.
But
Chairman.
obviously, the length of time. Yes, sir.
A couple of things here. I'm ready to make a motion. However, we seem to have a contractor that's not doing their due diligence. Is that something that needs to be brought up?
I think that might be outside, I'm not really sure. I think he's,
Well, what I'm getting
whoever
at
he's
with the
dealing with, I
county,
know.
He can obviously provide that information. This is the
Yes.
first time I'm hearing about or who his contractor is, but we can definitely relay the
Okay.
information and
Yeah.
see what we can pursue if he wants to provide us that after this hearing.
Okay, looking for
Okay,
motion.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion that we continue this case to the March 3rd Code Board meeting 2021.
I have a question.
I
On
would
that?
second that.
I'd like to see date certain. I think we should make a motion, make a date certain, and that way.
Well, the reason I'd like to continue instead of a date certain, this guy is working with county. He is diligently going to take care of this, and I think it's a moot point, but that's my
Okay.
motion.
It's up to the board.
I'd second the motion, and I don't want to put anything in it about relieving the $200 because I think we should hold that out as an
Right.
apple to make sure he keeps moving.
Okay, all right, very good. So there's a second on your motion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, sir, you got 60 days. Time certain, hopefully.
Yes,
Okay?
sir. Thank you.
And we did not reduce the 200, you still have that up?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if you continued it, there is no prosecution fee imposed.
That's the whole purpose
Yeah,
of the
you continued, the
continuation.
Oh, I
case
see what you're
is
saying.
that,
Okay.
so
So there's no
no
prosecution
$200
fee.
imposed when a case is continued,
Okay.
so
That would be at the next
But,
hearing.
but if it's not remedied, $200.
in March, you could
Correct.
impose it at
Yeah.
that point, finding him in violation, that's up to you. But I
Correct.
just
Okay.
wanna
Giving
make
you
sure
some
were clear.
time.
Great. Thank
Get
you
to
very
work.
much. I appreciate it.
All right, have a great day.
Thank you.
Happy holidays to you, sir. You as well, guys. We're on number 14, case number 103-488 has been removed. We are on 15, case number 103-567 has been abated. We're on 16, case number 103-731 has been abated. We are on 17, case number 103-425 has been removed. We are on 18, case number 103432 has been removed. We are on 19, case number 103464 has been abated. We are on case number 20, case number 103524. And that is 7932 Meadowlark Lane, Port St. Lucie, Florida, Sigo Novo. And that is Scripter's error on property owner, that's a construction company.
Contractor.
Contractor, excuse me, Westcon Construction, Inc. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please state your name and address.
Sergio Novo, 305 North Drive, Melbourne, Florida, 32934.
Okay, would you please raise your right hand and be sworn in?
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, we will be right with you in just a moment. Good morning, Josh, how are you?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Code Board members. I'm doing good. For the record, I am submitting 4 photos dated November 23rd of this year. One photo is of the permit card for expired permit 1703-0185 for a carport and shed aluminum roof panel replacement, and 3 photos of the property in question. 7932 Meadowlark Lane was found in violation of section 11.05.012, expired permit 1703-0185. A notice violation letter was issued on September 2nd of this year with a compliance date of September 16th. Notice to appear letter was issued on September 30th of this year for the Code Board hearing of December 2nd of 2020. And as of today's date, December 2nd, 2020, the property remains in violation. I have had contact with Mr. Novo, and he's here, he's working on trying to rectify the violation.
Okay, sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell us your story.
Westcon Construction does a lot of work for insurance companies, and this was one of those projects. It's out of our area, but we pretty much have to do whatever they tell us to go do. We obtained a permit, got all the engineering, everything. We did the work. When we were finishing up, we asked to get paid. Her response was pretty much, go get it from the insurance company. I'm not going to pay. When we got down to the final, we called in for the final. There were some extra items that they wanted done. I don't remember whether it was additional fees we were going to incur, and I just decided, just forget it. I'm not going to go after a little old lady for $8,000, $9,000. The job is done, and that was the end of it. We walked away. When we got notified that that was not acceptable, we have been reaching out to her to renew the permit. We have sent everything. We were in communication with her. She says she's acknowledged that she's got it. She's going to send it back. Over time, now she has pretty much just stopped taking our calls back. We are more than happy to redo the permit and go back out there and do whatever the violations are that we didn't do back in 2017.
Okay, so we can't bridge the gap necessarily between your customer and you, but not necessarily. And I don't know, Josh, do you have any
And
information?
Mr. Chairman, everything he stated is true. I've been in contact with the property owner as well, letting her know that he's trying to contact her and she doesn't return any of my calls. She came to our board hearing 2 months ago because, remember, we cite property owner and contractor.
Right.
And she got an extension on or a continuance till I think it's March of next year for her case. I don't know how she's going to go about rectifying it if she doesn't allow Mr. Novo to do it, but she did get time.
Does she understand, I wonder? I mean,
She does, and I called her, left her a voicemail about today's hearing. If she wanted to come, she didn't return my call. They submitted paperwork to be removed from the permit, Mr. Novo's company, and she refused to remove them from the permit as well. She wouldn't sign off on it. So he's trying everything he can. It's really left to her. I don't know what else we can do.
Okay. It was a frustration city, I think. Yes, sir, Mr. Harvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Doug Harvey, building official. I think that the inspection records are an important part of this case. And while I realize that they're very difficult to read up on the screen, I would like to enter into the record that we did attempt to perform an inspection on 4/5 of 2017, and the notes in the inspection indicate not per plan, need engineering on beam to beam connection, missing screws, some screws need to be sealed. We attempted to do a re-inspection on June 6th, 6/6 of 2017, and the notes in that inspection indicate need engineered letter for mending plate attachment, need revision for moving beam and post out, need letter on post location, need revision for using 3-inch riser panels. Drawings show insulated panels. Plans call for 1/4-inch tapcons for post to slab connection, and 3/16 were used. Need to be changed or engineered letter for the change. Engineered letter in detail for the changes and for missing items from drawings.
Yes, sir.
So is that,
Did
that's
you
up
hear
to-
that? You heard all that?
Yes.
Are you
Mr.
aware
Chair,
of that?
I have some questions, if that's all right.
Hey,
Sir, so you testified that you decided not to get a final inspection on this because you were owed money. Is that kind of fairly characterize what you stated?
Being that it was out of our area and it was during that time we were doing a million projects.
For whatever
Yeah,
reasons.
yes,
You reached a decision as a business owner, I can't get paid on this, I'm not gonna continue to work, and you stopped work. But you did pull the permit.
We did pull the permit. We did everything up to the final.
So as a contractor, you have a responsibility to resign from the job if you can't finish it. You know, if there's a contract dispute, did you provide the owner with a letter where you would no longer responsible for the job?
I don't know.
Okay, because when you pull a permit, you got an obligation to get those permits finalized one way or the other, irrespective of a dispute, unless you resign from the job and give a letter of some notice. So if you did not do that, that puts you in a different light.
Okay, I don't have the file. I don't honestly know what we did. I just know when we were involved with it, like I said, we knew we weren't gonna get paid. We were at the final, and that was, we didn't do any more. Just let it go.
Mr. Waters, Fanny, who works in Mr. Nova's company, emailed Ms. Quillen, the property owner, the paperwork to have them removed from the permit.
Okay.
And she wouldn't sign off on it. She
Okay.
refuses to sign off on it.
Okay, so, I mean, you obviously can't complete work if you're not getting paid, and at that point, I mean, you've met that obligation. That was my question for you. Okay. Thank you.
Well, that's a.
So this is interesting. So here you are, you didn't, you said that you were willing to go ahead and get with her and get it finalized, but what about all the things that Mr. Harvey just spoke of?
It was part of the final.
But
So if there was a final inspection, being that many years, I honestly, I don't remember
Right.
the list. I have not seen
Okay.
the list. I know from what we were building it per our drawings. So I can go back and look at my drawings, or find the drawings from
Right.
the engineer. I know some of the items that I remember when we were looking at it, when I made a decision, were items that did not relate to us, or
Okay.
we had already resolved. I mean, and I don't recall all of them, but some of them were adding fasteners
Right.
to an area that we didn't touch. We started from what did not fall down, from what fell down, and we continued forward. Some of those things, adding caulking to some fasteners. The fasteners have self-sealing washers on them. It does not need caulking.
Right.
And when I started seeing that, I said, look, this is, I'm not disputing what he's putting down. I know he wants them settled, but going back and forth and knowing very well that nothing is going to be accomplished from the owner's point of view, it's just and
Right.
that
But
was
if
the end of it.
if the lady, let me ask you this, sir. If the lady came in today, just speaking in generalities, the lady came in today and signed off, was willing to pay and all such as that, you still couldn't get the permit finalized because there's some problems that need to be handled.
We would have to apply for the permit again and then
And you're
address
willing,
each one of the
but
problems.
you said you were willing to do
That's
that,
what
correct?
Yes, we were attempting to get a permit reapplied for, but I need her signature. Once that's done, then I will address every one of those items that they were under. Most of them were in the engineering side. I really wasn't worried about the work or anything like that.
Right, and I understand that, because as it is now, we got a little lady sitting out there and it's unfortunate. You know, we all have situations that we don't all agree with, but we have a little lady sitting out there that is stubborn, evidently, but somehow this has to get, brought together. I'm sure we're only here because of violations, but.
If I could, I believe what we have here is a contract dispute, and I don't know that, in my view as a contractor, being a contractor, that he has an obligation to finish a job that he can't get paid for if he in fact has delivered a notice and has resigned from that. I don't know that we have an issue with him as much as the homeowner. And if I'm not mistaken, this case came up before us.
Yeah, the property owner came up before us. I'm checking now in September, and her case got continued till the February 3rd, 2021 hearing.
So along those lines, I do remember that, and she had stated that I do remember her saying she couldn't get a hold of the contractor. He wouldn't respond to her, if I remember right. So there was some back and forth there, and ultimately, if a contractor's here and you confirm that he did resign from that job, so she has an obligation at some point, and I know she had some back and forth with her insurance company on that. So we've got a contractor in front of us today. I'm for just dropping this case against the contractor.
Can I get a comment from Ms. Barberi as to what your thoughts are about this matter? Legality of, should he really be here?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
board members, for the record, Assistant County Attorney Catherine Barbieri. It is a proper site. He pulled the permit and he did not final it. So the citation is proper. If you want to find him not in violation because you don't feel he can get it final now, that is totally in your discretion. If you want to continue it till February, so both members are here at the same time to hear from both, that's also in your discretion. But there's the notice of violation is absolutely proper. He pulled the permit. He started it. He left the job unfinished at that point. But at this point, now what you find based on your testimony is up to the board.
Well, if he has provided her, according to Josh, that he's resigned from the project, then is he still liable?
It requires her signature, I believe.
But if she refuses to sign it, then
yes,
he's kind of being...
he has a tough situation created from walking from the job in 2017.
Okay.
Well, I think we ought to bring them both back at the same time.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, get them in here in February together.
Can't
work it
decide
out.
who's wrong yet.
Yeah.
We're just trying to help mitigate it, that's all.
Number one, we did finish it. We didn't leave any structure down. The structure was completed.
Okay.
It was honestly paperwork that had to be completed, additional minor things that I feel had to be done. It wouldn't take very long. We have no problem getting the permit and finishing and filing out the permit. We're not saying we're not going to do it. I'm not even bringing up the money issue.
Right.
It says we will get it done. If she signs the permit, you will never see me. We will take care of it, and we will do whatever engineering the building department needs. Not a problem on our.
Do you need any information since you're here? Or get with staff or whatever, any information about the permitting that Mr. Harvey spoke of, so you'd have it available for you?
No, my Fanny, the one who's been in doing this back and forth, has the permit information. We have all that. We know what we need, or the office knows what they need.
So you're willing to come back in February and see if we can help?
I'd rather have her sign and not have to come back.
Oh, I know.
We all would.
One
we
way
all
or
would,
another.
sir. We all would. We just,
Okay.
I don't know how else, unless Josh can go out and sit down with her and explain to her about the
Well,
meeting.
that's the thing. I've called her, talked to her. She doesn't want to sign.
Can
So-
you knock on her door and talk to her?
I've been at the property. We're not going into people's properties because of COVID, so we're doing everything over the phone. And I've talked to her over the phone several times, and she's told me she doesn't want to sign off on it.
Yeah, when Fanny was the person who's handling this initially was very cooperative, said, I'll take it, I've received it, no problem, I'll take it back, and now it's just ghosted us.
Well, maybe we should just put this till February and see what happens, see if,
Is that when she's supposed to come back? February?
February 3rd, yep.
How long was it extended to be the date February? How much time was she given?
She came in September, so it was extended, continued to February.
yeah.
Does she realize that she doesn't uncooperative.
She said at the hearing, if I recall correctly, at her hearing in September, that she was gonna get a different contractor to finish the work and pull the permit. When I contacted Mr. Novo or Fanny and told them that, they submitted the paperwork via email to her, and I called her to have them removed from the permit. And then at that point, she changed her mind and said, no, I'm not removing them from the permit. So I don't know what she's
The
doing.
consequence could be she would have to, take it down.
Yeah.
Ultimately, just didn't remove it, and then it's.
Well,
she's-
let's
it's all good.
bring her in on the
Yeah.
February and figure it out.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir, Mr.
so
Waters.
if we're acting strictly on the letter of the law, and we're gonna make a decision here today, I have, in my opinion, I've got a contractor who's here, who has pulled a permit legally, and I have a contractor who has legally resigned from the permit due to a contract dispute that's none of our concern. And so this contractor has traveled here. To have him come here again, to me, is a moot point, if he's to have any further hearings with him, unless he wants to come for the next hearing. I'm for making a motion to just completely release the contractor from here, but she's going to be back up here for a conversation. It would be nice to have them both at the same time.
Okay.
I'm
Mr. Harvey?
agreeing with I'm sorry, but I'm agreeing with Mr. Waters on this. He's done everything he was supposed to do. Why aren't we bringing him back?
Well, that's a good question. Mr. Harvey?
Because his name's on the permit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board members, with all due respect to the board members, I think it's important to note that the main reason that this inspection did not pass is because 1/4-inch fasteners were called for on the plan, 3 16-inch fasteners were installed. There is a significant structural difference over the entire assembly when you factor that in.
Okay.
If it is only a matter of engineering, as I believe I heard Mr. Novo state, that they had the engineering showing that that was appropriate. If it's a matter of entering an engineering document onto the permit that states that what is installed is proper, and if we can go ahead and show that the installation actually matches what was installed, or if the plans and the requirements actually match what was installed, we have the ability on our end to reopen this permit, work with Mr. Novo, just do a renewal fee on the permit, attach the appropriate documentation, and close the permit out. I offer that as a suggestion. Thank you.
Well,
And Mr.
here's my thoughts. He's resigning from the permit. No. He's made every effort to resign from the permit.
He hasn't resigned yet.
So the thing in front of us is the permit renewal or replacement permit. It's not the fact that there's inspection issues. It's the fact that he's wanting off of this job. He's did everything in his power to do so. Therefore, the next contractor that gets the permit, everything you stated will be upon him. But this guy says, I'm out.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Josh, when was the letter sent from the office to the property owner asking to get off the job?
I could check. Give me 1 second.
Was it in 2020?
Yeah, it was this year. It was after she came to our board hearing, so after September.
So that was, and it has, she did not sign off of it, so he has not been released from the job. Is that right, Mr. Harvey?
Yes, that is correct.
So he is attempting to get off of it, and at the time, it was our understanding that she was going to agree to it, but he has not been taken off of this permit.
Okay.
And the permit had expired at that time, if I may.
Yes,
That sheds a different light on her. Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Doug
Yes,
Harvey,
sir.
building official. If I may just add to this, we have no problem changing a contractor from one contractor to another. That's a very simple form.
Okay.
However, I would like to just add, if we allowed every time there were violations on a job and a contractor could not, would not, or did not fix them, and we release the contractor from the job, you are going to have thousands of expired permits, potentially structurally unsafe structures, and a tremendous amount of damage in the future coming in front of you. Thank you.
Okay, so here we go.
I have a motion.
So,
Whenever you're ready.
Cut to the chase.
okay, so if this gentleman here sent you the engineering, the proper engineering back in 17 to go with what you have here, if in fact you did that, then there'd be no, you could finalize it and get it done. He could get off the hook, the permit would be done and all such as that, correct?
Very probably, we would work with the contractor, and at that point in time, we would not necessarily need the owner's signature.
Okay, very good. Now, that comes into play. And
Do
I
it.
understand, you know, we're trying to help, but can you do that? Can you get that engineering?
I will, yes, I can do that.
You can do that.
Again, the issue was, when we first started, it was more than engineering. But if all are asking is that we need to provide engineering, I will get the architect, engineer, whoever did that back then to provide that information.
And then that would clear up the whole thing, correct?
Yes, sir.
Pretty
Doug
much, I
Harvey,
mean, that's-
building official. And I would be more than happy to work with the contractor on this, work through the paperwork issue.
Okay.
It appears that the major issues are the engineering and the changes that were made on the job site to the engineering that was previously approved.
Could you do that?
Yes.
Okay. So, board is,
So if, then that brings us back, because of the date whenever you applied to remove yourself from the job, I thought you had asked to remove yourself from the job before the permit expired, up to that point. So
I do not have any,
there was
I
a
don't have anything in writing that I can come up with.
Okay.
Whether it was verbal or in writing, I do not, I mean, I can go look for the file. We were not looking for that in our files.
Okay, in the absence of that, there's a permit that's expired, and you as a licensed contractor know you gotta finish
Yes.
out the permit. That's the bigger issue, and so with that, I'm inclined to, postpone this for, where he can get him in the same room with the homeowner at that point, because both of them have a problem
okay.
at this point, so.
All right, very good.
I don't know what that date is that she's supposed to be here?
September the 2nd.
February
February the 2nd.
February
February
2nd.
the 3rd.
If there's no
Excuse
other
me, February
questions, Ms.
3rd.
Monahan is ready for a motion.
Okay, if you're, okay, go ahead, Ms. Monahan, I didn't mean to talk over you.
I move to continue this case until the February 3rd code enforcement.
Second.
Okay. There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Sir, thank you for your time. I know it's you came a ways to see us, but we're just trying to help both parties and get it done and over with. Okay?
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
And
Have
if
a
you work it
beautiful
out
day.
before February,
Yeah.
we're all through, all done.
Yeah, happy holidays to you, sir.
Take care. Merry Christmas. Take
Okay, let's see, that was number 20. Okay, we're on 21, case number 10395 5504 Spruce Drive, Fort Pierce, Florida. Daniel Robert Mattson. Ms. Mattson? Okay, we're on 22, case number 103-974 has been abated. We're on 23, case number 102-118, 120 Prima Vista Boulevard, AJ and JM LLC.
Is that him?
This must be you.
Yes, good morning.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Segundo Maldonado. My address is 5121 Northwest Down Road, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34981.
Okay, please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, we're gonna hear from this gentleman. He'll be right with you.
Morning.
Yes, Matthew, go ahead.
For the record, I am submitting 6 photos showing the violation of T111 being removed. 3
You see the
photos
picture?
dated, it's outside siding, sorry. 3 photos dated August 9th, 2018, showing the original T11 siding taken by Officer Beatrice.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. 2 photos dated November 23rd, 2020, and 1 photo dated November 30th, 2020. During my inspection, I found the property located at 120 Prima Vista to be in violation of 11.05.01, building without a permit. A permit is required for the replacement of the exterior T111 siding. I issued a letter on October 12th, 2020, and gave a compliance date of October 26th, 2020. After getting noncompliance, a certified notice to appear for December 2nd, 2020 Code Board meeting was issued. I have had contact with the owner, and as of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Okay, so there has been no permit applied for or anything?
No, I spoke to him today. He wasn't aware that he needed a permit for it, for the replacement. So,
Okay. Did you, sir, please, did you not get a notice in the mail?
No, I not received.
You never received any notice?
No.
Okay. Then, but you do know that you need a permit, correct?
I know.
You do. On construction, you do need a permit.
I don't
Okay.
know for the replace the siding, they need a permit, at that time. That's why I did it without permit.
Okay, but you do need one.
All right.
Okay. Can you go ahead and get a permit?
Yes.
Okay. Can you get it in the next 30 days, 60 days?
60 days.
60 days, you can do it? Okay, very
I-
good. Anything else you'd like to add to it, or any questions from the board?
I have some questions of the building
Yes, sir.
official.
Chairman, I just want to add in, we did get service from the certified notice on November 18th, 2020 from ACJM. There's a signature at 5407 South Indian River Drive.
We did get a signature
We did
for
get a
him?
signature. When I spoke to him, he said he didn't sign for it. He said that he didn't aware of the
Somebody
signature.
else signed for you, but you
that's
did
what-
get one.
Let me ask,
I'm no longer living in the property. Was before my property there, but I'm no longer living in the property.
Is it a rental property?
No, I sell the property for someone else. I think the new owner signed that.
are you the owner of AG and JM LLC?
Yes.
Okay.
And the signature does have ACJM. So I mean,
Okay.
in the correct
Did he own
address.
he owned the property at the time? When did you sell it?
July 2019.
July 19, in 2019?
Yeah.
Well, I'm confused.
Well, the notice still.
Mr. Chairman of the board, he's saying that he sold the 5407 South Indian River Drive. He's in violation of 120 Prima Vista.
Okay.
Different
Okay.
address.
Yes.
You're on Prima Vista now.
No, I live in Down Road, 5121. That's my address.
Mr. Chairman, Assistant County Attorney Catherine Barbieri, what he needs to do is change where he gets his mail at the property appraisers, because the property appraiser lists 5407 still as the address for the corporation that owns the property at 120 Prima Vista.
Okay.
So until he changes it, that's where the certified mail will go.
Okay, and then, what, you understand that, sir?
Yes,
The
sir.
certified mail it's going to the wrong address because you didn't change your address.
Oh, okay.
But then, now you say that this 120 Prima Vista, you're not living there?
No, it's a rental property.
Oh, but it's your property?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right,
Still
sir.
need a permit.
You still need a permit, and you
Okay.
can get the permit, you'll have it done in 30 days, 60 days?
60 days.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to finish my question.
Excuse?
A question of the building official.
Oh, yes, sir.
I see that, the photo that I see, I'm assuming that the gray portion is what's been replaced, which is several half sheets of T111 plywood. I'd like to know technically, what is the dividing line where replacing the sheathing on the outside, being the T111, requires what is the defining level that requires a permit? It's a particular square area, footage, is there, versus a repair?
No, sir. According to the building code, a permit is required for virtually everything. And anytime you are dealing with the exterior envelope of the structure, a building permit is required. If there is a minor repair being done, and I would, when I say minor repair, a 2x2 square of rotted wood at the bottom, where you are not impacting the actual overall envelope, you are not impacting the attachment of the covering, and where you are not becoming involved in the weatherproofing of the structure. Behind this T111, there needs to be a vapor barrier, and the attachment of the T111 needs to be per the governing code for the wind speeds and impact loads.
Yeah, so that was my question, is where is the defining, what defines a repair in my mind? So can you make any repair whatsoever without a permit?
Yeah, he said 2x2.
I find it hard to believe that everything needs a permit. That blanket statements, I'm not trying to grill you over it, I'm just trying to see,
Yes, sir.
by the letter of the law, if I'm making a decision, you got a code violation based on a violation of the building code. I just wanted to hear what that was, what the building code said, to do it right.
I understand, and I would refer you to Chapter 1 of the Building Code. Under Section 105.1, it essentially says that a permit is required for everything, including repairs and replacements.
Okay.
There are additional sections following that that are specific exemptions from the building code.
Right.
Items such as cabinets do not require a permit.
Okay.
And replacing a light bulb does not require a permit. Those are specifically called out in the building code.
Okay.
We attempt to use good judgment on some of the other items. Anytime something is repaired, replaced, removed on the exterior of the building, a permit should be pulled for that. If someone's going to replace a piece of fascia board, we work with folks in order to try and not be overbearing, in order to not make people go out of the way when a permit is required. In a case such as this, we are talking about the exterior envelope, and we are talking about the weatherproofing as well as the attachment of that. It's a judgment call, Mr. Warren.
And this crossed the threshold in your opinion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That was really well.
Is there insulation on that?
It appears this is attached to a garage, if I may address the owner.
Yes, it's inside of the garage.
If the garage is not conditioned, then there most likely would not be insulation in the wall. But that is another reason that a permit would typically be required, so that it could be evaluated. If the insulation was damaged or was wet, we would require replacement.
Okay, very good. So now, we're getting back to the permitting. I think the board members have no questions. I think we're looking for a 30 or 60 day.
I move that we continue this case and for the February 3rd, 2021 board meeting.
Okay, there is a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, sir, you'll be given until February to get all of this done, okay?
All right, thank
Have
you.
a nice Christmas. Enjoy the holidays. Sorry it took so long.
You too, thank
Okay,
you.
24, case number 102452, 125 East Lucero Drive, Raymond T. Case. Okay. We're on 25 has been removed. 25 102507 has been removed. 26, case number 102808, 137 East Aldera Street, Brian Haddon. Okay, 27, case number 103466, location violation 2817 28th Street, Mario Gil Gomez. 28, case number 103863 has been abated. 29, case number 101017, 14520 Orange Avenue. Alfred D. Calesi, how do you pronounce that? Kalasi. Good morning. Thank you for your time. So whoever's going to speak, or both of you, you're going to speak, ma'am? Okay, please, your name and address.
Karen Colese, 14520 Orange Avenue, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34945.
Okay, sir, and you're not going to speak at all? If you're going to,
Yeah.
you are?
Alpha Calesi,
Go ahead.
14520 Orange Avenue, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34945.
Okay, would you both raise your right hands?
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, very good. If you just bear with us, we're going to hear from the gentleman, and we'll be right with you, okay? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, if I could, there is a companion case to this on page number 23, case number 36. Am I able to read that after this case?
20, you said page 23?
Page number 23, case number 36. Case number 103364.
Okay, and a companion case, yes, 36, case number 103364, 14520 Orange Avenue. Okay, yes.
Yes, okay. So first case is going to be 101017.
Correct.
For the record, I'm submitting a total of 15 photos taken on March 18th, 2020 at the property address of 14520 Orange Avenue, Fort Pierce. This case is a result of a complaint affidavit filed by the property owner Alfred D. Calizzi on March 17th, 2020. The complaint affidavit filed through the Contractor Licensing Department indicated that Mr. Alfred Calizzi had hired state licensed contractor Big Dog Repair, LLC, Jesus Medina, to do repair work on the property. Numerous violations of St. Lucie County Code, building without a permit, were found on the property during my inspection, including new electrical service attached to a pole, unpermitted metal roof on the pool house, interior remodel in the pool house, including electrical and plumbing, structural repairs made to the horse barn, and electrical added. A courtesy notice was sent by mail, which included St. Lucie County Code 11.05.01, building without a permit. A permit is required for the pool house roof, drywall replacement, electrical, and plumbing. 11.05.01, building without a permit. A permit is required for the electrical service added to the pole. 11.05.01, building without a permit. A permit is required for the electrical switch panel in the barn. And 11.05.01, building without a permit. A permit is required for the barn repairs, including structural supports. No compliance was met, so a notice of violation was issued on August 3rd, 2020, with a correction date of August 17th, 2020. Since no compliance was obtained, the notice to appear before the December 2nd, 2020 Code Enforcement Board was sent by certified mail, which was delivered and signed for on October 21st, 2020. I have spoken to Mrs. Calizzi several times throughout the course of this case and advised her that permits will need to be obtained for the work. That was done. The building official, Doug Harvey, and myself visited the property on August 14th, 2020, and reviewed all the violations with Ms. Calizzi. As of December 1st, 2020, no permits have been applied for or issued, and the property remains in violation.
No permits.
No permits.
Okay, folks, it's your turn.
Okay, we got ripped off by the contractor. The contractor.
Speak in the microphone.
We got ripped off by the contractor. The contractor took $40,000. He has not been back on the property since December 16th, 2019. We have the checks signed by him, 2 checks signed by him that went to from our Citizens Insurance to our mortgage company in Oklahoma. They furnished him 2 checks, and he started the work, started doing all this, tells Mr. Sisio that he never was on the property, that he didn't do anything there. So I called Mr. Sisio because I didn't know what to do. My husband had a triple bypass. He has not been able to do anything. And I was in the hospital. We have mold in the home too. This contractor has totally taken advantage of the 2 of us, and we're seniors. I have now contacted the Sheriff's Department. I have victims' rights. So I got this also, which I'm trying to get him on fraud. I contacted Rural Legal Services. I contacted Service Crime. We have tried to do everything. We don't have the money to kind of fix all this. The only thing that him and I can do right now is our mortgage company took the $11,000 that's left over and put it towards our principal of our home, when we've been begging them to give it to us so that we can get another contractor. They will not do it.
I think from what you're telling us, and I don't know, it appears like you might need some legal service, like an attorney and such as that.
We've been trying. Nobody wants to take this case. I've called 28 contractors. I've called pool people. They ripped up my pool.
Attorneys.
Well, attorneys, yes, and I called attorneys. They want $6,500 up front. you know, they won't take it pro bono. This guy has $1 million liability, what do you call it, a liability policy. He left our roof off of our home from March last year. We went through Dorian with no roof until October 16th.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Is he a contractor?
Yes.
Okay, I think Mr. Waters?
I have a lot of thoughts.
I'm sure you do. That's
And I
why,
have a lot of
that's why I
papers.
asked you.
I'm not sure where to go from here. Maybe the building, I was kind of waiting to hear from the building official as to the way he's seen it. I had a few, first thing I was asked, I see you've got something about Horse Haven here. Is this an agriculture property?
It's, yes.
You have agriculture exemption right now?
No.
Okay.
We're not ag exempt. We
You're
don't.
not ag
We don't
exempt.
breed animals.
Okay.
We have horse rescue.
Okay. I kind of wanted to hear from the building official. I was to ascertain some more information as to what we see obvious violations in the pictures.
Thank you for being here, Doug.
Thank you, Mr. Waters. Doug Harvey,
You're
building
welcome.
official. Yes, I did visit the property with Mr. Sissio, and there are numerous violations that were apparent. Some of it appears to be work that may have been started that was not completed. There appear to be some issues with work that is not really identified. As you can see in the picture that's currently in front of you, we don't show a record of any of this work. The wiring methods in some cases are questionable. We are in an agricultural building where this picture was taken, which falls under Article 547 of the Electrical Code, and you can see at the top right where the yellow wiring is going up.
Yes.
That typically is not a permitted wiring method in this type of a building due to the corrosive nature of what you have in the building. And we do not have permits, we do not have plans until such time as we are able to get the permits and the plans. It's very difficult for us to fully evaluate exactly what is there or what we need to do with the building.
Ma'am, how long ago was all that electrical done?
I would say, from my records, I would say they started this on April of 2019. He had a guy come out, his name was Luis Torres. He told me, I asked him, I said, are you gonna get permits? He said, well, we'll take care of that, don't worry about it. And I thought I asked him to show them to me, he never did.
And you let him continue on?
I didn't let him continue on. That's when we tried to tell the mortgage company not to give him any more money. They gave him more money because they had an adjuster come out, see that this work was done. This work is all in some kind of wiring, some kind of, I think the yellow stuff that's there is the old stuff that they never took down.
I don't know, but in the fellow board members here, and maybe they'd have a thought here, but I think that you need to just, we have a situation here. You are in violation, of course, as we can see, and they've been out and looked at it. So the violation isn't going to go away until this gets straightened out. But it appears like that you somehow need to get some legal advice or something as to how you're going to go through what you have to go through. The violation is still going to exist until you get that done.
Correct. What I'm trying to do right now is my only thing is to get a refi on the house, take out 30 grand of our money, that we have to pay back, and now wind up fixing everything. I have already tried to get in touch with a couple of refi companies, which we have very good scores. So we will be able to do that. It's just, I don't know when. Okay, I'm trying everything. That's why I've talked to Mike Sissio completely over and over and over again. I called him, to try to get this rectified. I don't know what to do. I mean, we were just left up in the air with all these things, and this guy did fraud in Port St. Lucie also.
I would say, I don't know. I'm not just a board member, but I would think that legal services of some type, or when I say legal, I'm talking about an attorney, is somebody to help you get into the midst of this, not with your mortgage, but the other things. And I don't know if any of the other board members have any thought on that.
We've tried, we tried. I mean.
Okay, well, the violation is here.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
might I interject here? We've got two companion cases. Let's look at case 103364 on page 23, case number 36.
Read that.
I
in-
think we
What, that has
should,
nothing to do,
Let's read it in
yeah,
the record.
I know,
since
but
it's a
what I'm getting at here, because they're companion cases, we could, go ahead and get rid of this one real quick.
wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm missing what you're telling me here.
Well,
We're on case number
he said
101017.
they're companion cases, right?
That is correct.
So are they companion cases? Do they need to be individual?
Mr.
Do we
Chairman,
treat them
Yes.
separately?
Assistant County Attorney Catherine Barbieri, they're companion in that they're violations on the same piece of property, but they're different violations. Mr. Sisio does need to read that one into the record also, and we would be requesting two separate motions.
Okay, very good.
So we can go ahead and deal with this one and deal with the other one later?
Yeah.
Okay.
The homeowners are standing in front of you, so if you want to go ahead and, it's the board's discretion whether you want to do a motion on this one first, or go ahead and have Mr. Sisio read that one in, and then you'll have knowledge of both cases when you make
Okay,
your motion.
I can read
okay.
in, the case number 103364 of the 14520. And it, but the cases, it really does, the violations are here. And however we handle it, the violations are there until you take care of them.
Well,
Now, however you take care of them, ma'am, financially, that's up to you. We just have to.
We've asked to find out how much, that each violation is, and we haven't gotten anywhere.
Nobody knows.
I've called, I've said, listen, I need to know how much this is. Oh, we don't know, we have to send somebody out. Okay, well, I've called again, we've asked, and I'm getting nowhere. Every
Okay.
avenue that I have went through, I have gotten blocked, until I went to the sheriff's department. Now I got a fraud case on me.
Okay. I don't, so you're trying to get, Mr. Sisio, can you help us out here?
Yes, she's been directed to contact permitting, and I believe that she has
Yes.
called permitting, but
Many
I don't
times.
believe without a permit application, they can give her a fee
Right.
on what the permit costs
Did
are
you
going
fill
to
out
be.
any applications?
Well, the lady told me, she said to me, she said, well, if you want, you've got to pay for this, but she doesn't know how much money, she told me. She says, I can't give you a price, ma'am. So I says, well, hey, how do I go forward? I don't know what to do. I've
We
tried
gotta-
this.
We got a disconnect. Mr. Harvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doug Harvey, building official. Permit fees are done based on a table. There's a calculation that is
Okay.
performed. And the permit fee is based on valuation of the project and the type of project that it is. Our fee schedule is approximately 9 pages long.
Okay.
So when we get asked a question, how much is a permit going to cost? Typically, our first comment is, I'm not sure. Can you tell me
Understand.
what you're doing and what the valuation of the work is? Because those are two of the key pieces that we need to be able to answer that question.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, and we've told them. We said they've been out there, they've seen, they have pictures. You've got to tell me. I can't give you money on something that I have no idea. So we're right back to where we are. we're going in a
But
circle.
you have to fill out paperwork
Right.
to present to the county. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that what we're missing?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, what I think is going on here, they don't have a plan. You don't have how would you describe the plan, Mr. Harvey, as to what they need to go with the permit application?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Murdoch. Typically, it would start with a design professional, such as an architect, that would take a site plan of the property. We would identify what buildings are to be involved in the work. And then there would be several pages, most likely developed, of plans directly related to those buildings that would show the details of the work that is required to be done. A contractor would take those plans, would evaluate those plans, and estimate the value of the work, would fill out a permit application, submit it to us, we would review it, and the computer then calculates the permit fee.
Okay, did you understand what he
I
was?
understood that, but here, you got to understand us. We gave this man 40 grand. okay? He had a triple bypass trying to fix things to keep our barn from flooding, okay? He was out of work for 3 months. So we're still trying to catch up from all of that, from this COVID thing that he wasn't allowed. He was just in the hospital last week, and I was in the hospital twice this year because I have very bad asthma. So my thing is that I'm trying to do what I'm supposed to do, but I can't. I'm
Okay.
overwhelmed with all of this.
Look,
And I have all my paperwork, everything.
hold it, okay. We're here trying to help you.
Okay.
Right.
All right? We're not here to, throw you under the bus. And what you've done with this contractor is you got the short end of the stick, so to
Yeah.
speak. Okay, and we understand.
And we did
Trust
the right
me,
thing.
we do.
hired a licensed and insured contractor.
We understand that. We understand that. Okay. Now, those are legal issues that doesn't involve this board.
Right.
Okay. And the legal issues really doesn't involve the building department. Okay. So what we're trying to tell you here is for you to get these permits and get this off of our agenda here is to work with Mr. Harvey and have him explain to you, look, we need descriptions of what, and he'll be more than happy to work with you. He's a super guy. And once you get that kind of list of to-do, the to-do list, so to speak, then working with him, then you can get the construction estimate of what it would cost to fix. Then you can get the permits and move forward. Okay. Now, all we're here for is what's provided in front of us. Okay. And the legal part of your problem with the contractor and everything doesn't involve the board. Okay, this board anyway. So what I think we should do is to give you some time, and plenty of time at this point, to work with Mr. Harvey to sit down and come up with a game plan. Okay. Once you've come up with a game plan and working with the building department, then you can move forward. But right now, that's kind of where we are. So, Mr. Chairman, I have a motion that we give these people plenty of time, and now that they know they can work with Mr. Harvey and Mr. Cisco, that they can put together a plan over time to figure out what needs to be done, how it needs to be done to move forward.
Right.
Okay.
We want to do the right thing.
And as far as your old contractor and the sheriff's department and all of those things, those are outside of our realm. Okay. And we feel for you because you're not the first person that's come in here and been treated that way. We see quite a few cases where people have come in that the contractor just totally messed them up.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
walked off the job last year. And
Mr.
we haven't
Murdoch,
heard from him
and like I
since
say,
last
you're not the
December.
first
And there's
person that's come
remedies
in
for
here
that, ma'am.
with that situation. So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we continue this case till the April 7th, 2001.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm sorry,
please
2021.
identify the case number. You say this case.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
In reference to case 101017, I move that we postpone this case to the April 7th, 2021 board meeting.
Okay, I'm gonna call a question for just a moment. Does any of the board members have anything on that?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harvey, is there any danger in what they've done? Is there a possible danger of any kind?
There is a possible danger, yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Did that answer your question, sir?
Yeah, just
Okay.
what can they do to
Well, they
evade the
can't-
danger?
they can't
you
do
know?
anything.
They can't do
They have to
anything.
work
That's the problem, Richard. They can't do anything until they get a game plan put together here. And that's the whole purpose of me giving them time, so they can come up with a game plan with Mr. Harvey and the building department as to how to move forward.
Okay.
And with the amount of work that I've been presented here, it's quite a bit. Plus, they're gonna have a hard time finding a contractor, as they've already testified, to work with them to rectify this problem. And that in itself is gonna take time to put together.
Okay. That answer it? Mr. Murdoch? You made the motion. Is
I'll
there a
second.
second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Waters. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, that's on that case there. And let's do this. Let's go to,
Excuse me. Mike, where's the contractor? Did you find him?
In reference to Big Dog Repair?
Yeah, but-
The case is still under investigation pending.
Is he coming in or not?
I have not scheduled him for a contractor licensing board to date.
Okay.
Contractors and License Board is outside
Of this.
of this. Okay. That's a whole different,
But shouldn't he had to, pull the permits?
like I say, that's part outside of what we're here for today. Okay? And you guys are gonna be working with these guys. All of that will be discussed then and dealt with at that point.
All right.
What we're trying to do is give you time and put together a plan so you can move forward. Because
Okay.
right now, the only other alternative we have is to set a date certain, and at that date, fine you $250 a day, which you don't want.
No.
So what we're trying to do is to give you free time, and at that point, come April 7th, you will probably come back to us if you have not rectified the problem, and then we can discuss where we go from there.
Okay.
Okay. Now, on the I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, you
yeah,
want to go ahead?
Mr. Murdoch, let's move over to number 23, the companion case. I know we're jumping ahead a little bit, not really, but 103364, and let's do the same thing on that one.
Read into the record, okay. For the record, I'm submitting a total of 4 photos, 2 taken on March 18th, 2020, and 2 taken on October 16th, 2020, during a reinspection at the property address of 14520 Orange Avenue, Fort Pierce. During my initial inspection, I found the property of 14520 Orange Avenue, Fort Pierce, to be in violation of Section 13.08.01, adopting Standard Housing Code, Section 303.1, swimming pools. The swimming pool must be clean and sanitary. A notice of violation was issued on August 17th, 2020, with a correction date of August 31st, 2020. The pool was re-inspected on October 16th, 2020, and still found to be unsanitary. Since no compliance was obtained, the notice to appear before the December 2nd, 2020 Code Enforcement Board was sent by certified mail, which was delivered and signed for on October 31st, 2020. I have spoken to Mrs. Calizzi several times throughout the course of this case and advised her that the pool must be cleaned. I did speak with Ms. Calizzi on November 30th, 2020, in which she stated that the pool is in the same condition. As of December 1st, 2020, the property remains in violation.
It's December when?
The
last picture?
The last picture was October 16th, 2020.
Okay, but as of December, you said it's in the same condition?
When I had a conversation with her on November 30th, she said it was in the same condition as what it appeared in October.
No, he didn't come out. He didn't come out.
All right.
I was out in October. That picture was taken October 16th.
That was October.
Right.
We have
Okay,
had,
all right. Now,
I drained that pool out, I power washed it, and refilled it with water.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been
So you
cleaned
haven't
out,
been out there since?
completely cleaned out. What happened is the contractor ripped apart all the tile, took everything off and separated the pool from the concrete, okay? He did this he had it done with a pool company that came in, that he hired, I guess a subcontractor company, came in, ripped the whole pool up. There was no reason to do all that because he was supposed to just fix the deck. And he
Okay.
wound up ripping everything up to make more money because he wanted to charge us $17,000.
Okay, in this particular case, as we see this picture here that's up on the wall and all this stuff laying around it, you just leave the stuff laying around like this?
No, that
was
stuff
before.
was from the hurricane. What we did was we put some of the stuff inside the pool. You know,
Some will fly away.
some of it fell in, some of it whatever. And this contractor had the pool people disconnect all the pipes that go to clean the pool. So all of that is totally taken apart, and I've been trying to get somebody to come in to hook it back up again. And the guy came in right before Mike Sissio. We talked to Mike Sissio on the 17th of October. The guy comes in, shows up, walks away, and says like this, he said, I'm done, I'm not doing nothing. He
Okay.
said, I'm not
all
doing
right.
anything.
Very good. And it,
A pool guy.
so I was just
That was
wondering
there.
about date-wise on the next one, date-wise, if it was like this and such as that. Because, and it has no fence on the pool or anything such as that, no security? Nothing?
No, it was all taken down.
Well, that in itself is a,
Okay, you said you pressure washed the pool
Yes.
and cleaned it up
It's
and everything.
clean.
Yeah, after
Have you
Mike- after
invited
Mike
Mr.
came out,
Sissio back
yes.
out to
Yeah.
do an
Right,
inspection?
I can do that.
Okay. What I think we should do here is, I'm gonna give you 30 days, because it sounds like you've already gotten the problem taken care of. And he can go back out, look at everything, figure out what needs to be done, if any, okay? And you can,
Now, since then, I
yeah,
filled,
you
I
can get
filled
this
the
taken
pool
care of
up.
real quick.
We're gonna
But
need
now-
hold on. We're gonna need a little bit more time because I need somebody also to plug it in. I need somebody to hook up those pipes again. All the pipes are not hooked up. I got the pool
Okay,
filter,
so
I have everything,
You
but
tell me, do you need 30 to 60 days?
probably 60 days because I
Okay.
can't get anybody. I
Okay.
gotta go crazy.
I'm good for giving them 60 days. Anybody else on the board?
go ahead and make a motion, and let's see where we're at.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move in case number 103364 that would continue this case until the March 3rd, 2021 board meeting.
I would second that only for discussion, if I may start that discussion.
Yes, sir, there's a question. Go ahead, sir.
You know, the optics of this is not good. I'm looking at pictures. If you were my neighbor, I'd be really ripped at you. And it's a mess. And to be honest with you, I think we've been generous with time. If whenever this case comes back with my second, if later on when the case comes back, if these pictures look like that, I'm going to ask the building, I'm going to ask code enforcement why we didn't cite you for junk and debris and other stuff that they could have done. So right now we're talking about buildings, you know, the permits. We haven't even talked about junk and debris. And I think to be a good neighbor with other people around, that this is very unsightly. And I would be weighing that out within my decision at that time later on. I'm not, you know, nobody's brought it up as far as I can see in the paperwork here, but that would be really important to me later on.
Can I say something? We have
Sure.
cleaned all that up. It's all
Okay.
been cleaned up since then. We were told by our mortgage company, because of the adjusters coming out, was not to touch anything.
Yeah, you're
They
right.
told us not to touch anything. They needed adjusters to come out to take pictures. So if we would clean it up, they wouldn't give us our money. So if we did any work whatsoever,
Well, the
they're
money's-
not going to give us our money. So we're in a catch-22.
Well, wait a minute. Before you go any further here, he's gonna have plenty of pictures. He goes out there, you see the pictures right here. So if there's any question of what it looked like, county has pictures
Right.
that you can
Yeah,
present.
we didn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, but they just sent another adjuster out just recently because we wanted that $11,000 so we could get this something going.
Well,
Once again, within the second that I just delivered, I gave some advice within that second that would get you a long way later on for one board member here. I don't know about others, but I'm suggesting that if the optics were different, the ability to help you would be a lot easier for me, so my second stand.
Okay, so now we're at, so you folks just sit tight for a minute. We do have a motion, we have a second,
Ken did,
okay?
Ken Waters did.
Yeah, Ken Waters seconded it. So all in favor, and what was the date again?
I think I
March.
said March 3rd.
March 3rd? Okay. All in favor of March 3rd, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign?
No, I'm opposed.
You're opposed?
Yeah.
Okay. Opposed by Ms. Monahan.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
all this goes back to when you started this. You should have gone to an engineer, gotten a plan, gone through a number of contractors to find the one that would bid on it and give you a good price.
I have 27 contractors.
But
In my
that's an
book,
after the
that
fact.
came out. and-
That's
and-
after the fact. If you
No,
had
no,
done
that was
No,
before
no.
the fact, sir.
well, where was your permit when you started?
I had contacted roofing companies. I contacted pool companies, electrical contractors. I had contacted everybody. I have everything documented.
But you didn't get a permit.
Are we supposed to get the permits or the contractor?
The contractor
No,
has to get a permit.
No,
Not us.
most contractors charge you to get the
I
permit.
understand. They got the money, sir. They got
So where's the permits?
$19,000 on the first draw.
But you didn't get a permit
He
first.
was supposed to. He told me. He
It's
said,
a
"I'm gonna
respons-
get
You take care of it.
It's a responsibility of you folks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're the
You-
landowner.
You
And
know,
we didn't know all this. This is the thing.
then
we
you
didn't
should
know
have,
it.
okay, anyway,
This
all the
property is
motions,
above your ability.
ladies and gentlemen, all the motions are made, seconded, finalized. This is
done.
going to be the end unfortunately, of this, and you folks have time, so go forward and speak with staff
I
and
think
all
the
that, Mr.
contractor should
Sissio,
pull the permits,
and we'll
I
go
think.
forward from there, okay?
That's what I think.
I'm not supposed to.
Well,
Okay.
They're not, we're not.
It's over.
We're done.
We're done.
And what we're telling you, here's the two people you need to work with. So, after this meeting's over, you might want to sit down with these two folks and go from there. We're doing everything in our power.
Okay, all right, thank you, folks. Sorry to. Okay, folks, let's try to get through this. Number 30, case number 101-771-0/Pine Trail, Shane Brooken.
Boykin.
Vulcan. 31, case number 102-704-6585 North US Highway 14 Pierce Selma Motel LLC.
Mr. Chair, there was a request yesterday to continue this case until January 6th. The owner has had a medical situation, cannot be here.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move in case number 102-704 that we continue this case until the January 6th, 2021
We're not,
meeting.
oh, yeah, okay.
January 2021?
Yep.
Okay. Motion second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, guys, we're on 32, case number 102-718, 5110 Seagrape Drive, Fort Pierce, Florida. Peyton M. DeFrancisco.
Mr. Chair, the property owner did come in this morning at the beginning of code board, and the permit was applied for and issued this morning, so the case is abated.
It's abated?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Good job. Okay, 33, case number 103-013, location violation 200 Nelmar Drive, Beach Club Colony Condo, Inc. Good morning, sir. Thank you for being patient. Welcome. Along with everybody else out there. Please state your name and address.
Michael Dager, 200 North Elmar Drive, Jensen Beach, Florida, 34957.
Okay, please raise your right hand, be sworn in.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, we're going to hear from Ms. Sissio, and then we'll be with you. Yes, sir.
Good morning. For the record, I'm submitting a total of 6 photos, 2 taken on June 25th, 2020, 3 taken on July 17th, 2020, and 1 taken on November 23rd, 2020. On July 17th, 2020, I found the property located at 200 North Elmar, Jensen Beach, to be in violation of Section 11.05.01, building without a permit. A permit is required for seawall work. And Section 11.05.01, building without a permit is required for the drainage foundation work, including sheet piling. A courtesy notice was mailed, which gave a compliance date of August 20th, 2020. On July 23rd, 2020, permit number 2007-0543 was applied for by the contractor, Mr. Hustle Inc., which was later issued on September 21st, 2020. That permit is for the seawall work. After receiving no compliance for the secondary violation, a notice of violation was mailed out on August 31st, 2020, which gave a compliance date of September 14th, 2020. After still not receiving compliance, a notice to appear before the December 2nd Code Enforcement Board was mailed out certified mail, which was delivered and signed for on September 17th, 2020. On September 25th, 2020, permit number 2009-0596 for commercial foundation was applied for and is currently in a pending status, awaiting engineering documents. As of December 1st, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Okay, sir.
We're well on the permitting process as far as applying it. We've formed an ad hoc committee. We're working very closely with our contractor to make sure that he is providing all the documents that are required to have the permit issued.
Okay, so you're thinking, what, 30, 60 days?
60 days would be fine.
That will take care of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're looking for a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion in reference to case number 103-704 013, that we continue this case until the February 3rd Code Board meeting, 2021.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign? Okay, sir, you got it. February
you.
3rd, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Have a nice holiday. 34, case number 103-033, 160 Princess Drive, Port St. Lucie, Florida, James D. Verselli. Come up and see us. How you doing, all right? I'm gonna put a smiley face.
Oh, what do you want me to?
Please state your name and address, sir.
Oh, James Divaselli, 3085 Southwest Russell Boulevard.
Okay, would you please raise your right hand? Yes,
Do you
be
affirm
sworn.
to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. What was your address?
Well, I'm at 60 Yacht Club Place in Tequesta, Florida.
Okay.
But the address that I have a homestead on is 3085 Southwest Russell Boulevard.
Okay.
160 is a house I own that my granddaughter lived in.
Okay. All right, very good. We're going to hear from Mr. Ciccio. We'll be right with you, sir. Going to hear from this gentleman here. Go ahead.
For the record, I'm submitting a total of 8 photos, 7 taken on July 21st, 2020, and 1 taken on November 20th, 2020, showing the property posted. On July 21st, 2020, I found the property located at 160 Princess Drive in Port St. Lucie to be in violation of Section 11.05.01, building without a permit. A permit is required for the renovation work being performed. A courtesy notice was mailed, which gave a compliance date of August 21st, 2020. After receiving no compliance, a notice of violation was mailed out on August 31st, 2020, which gave a compliance date of September 14th, 2020. After still not receiving compliance, a notice to appear before the December 2nd Code Enforcement Board was posted on the property on November 20th, 2020. I have spoken to the property owner, Mr. James D. Verselli, on several occasions and informed him of the violations and the ways to correct. All contact information for the permitting department was provided. I received, as of December 1st, 2020, no permit has been applied for or issued, and the property remains in violation.
Okay, very good. So, sir, let me ask you this. You put a stop work order when you put out a violation like that? How does that work?
The work is stopped, whatever work was being done, until a permit is issued. And once the permit is issued, then it's usually a representative of the building department will go remove that stop work order.
All right. So, like in a case like this, when you go out and see this, you put a stop work order on it?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes, sir. Tell us what's going on here, sir.
Well, I was told to keep just to this, but the people that have been working on the roof, that has a bearing on this. The first gentleman, I pulled all the permits, and he had been a roofer in Colorado but lives in Florida, so he came to work with me. I came down with the virus, and I ended up in hospital, and I still have problems from this. The only permit the only one that I have that was sent to me, this document, is on 11/20. The others I was supposed to sign for, but of course I knew nothing of them. You say that you told me about this many times, and I'll be honest with you, I was dealing with all the roof problems I had from the first gentleman, and there was no work going on that wall. It's where the water came down, and it took an area of the wall away. The gentleman that was doing the roof, the first person, unbeknownst to me, because I was in hospital, he took down the brickwork.
Okay.
And took off with the $3,900 I gave him. So then I had to go and get the roof doctors. They took out the permits in, they applied for permits 8/20/2020. I gave them a check for $5,500, 8/23. that was I don't know how they got a permit applied for 820 when I gave them the check the first time I saw him was 823, but they would not, you can see all the names on here. I called numerous times.
Okay, so but you still don't have the permit. You don't have the proper
No,
permit.
I want to get a permit. I've been ill.
Okay.
I want to resolve this
Okay.
and make it go away. I want to get the work done. And I have a gentleman coming Thursday that's a builder. He has all the right documentation. And he's going to look at it and see what he'll do the
Okay.
work.
So all you need is some time, so you're talking about 30 days? 60
Yeah, 30 days would be fine. I just need time to get this
Okay,
done.
all right. We're looking for a motion?
Mr. Chairman, before we do that, you are working with Mr. Cicio, right? Are y'all
yes,
communicating and trying to work all this out?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I have a motion.
Yes, sir.
I move in reference to case number 103033 that we continue this case to the March 3rd meeting, 2021.
I'll second.
March 3rd, 2021, okay.
Ma-
Second by Mr. Waters. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, sir, you got till March.
Okay, can I ask
okay.
you a question? If the permits are already gotten before that, do I have to come back?
No,
No.
Okay.
no. You'll work with this
Okay.
gentleman, and anything that's on our agenda, if it's all taken care of, we'd like to see you, but
No, that's okay.
only on
I
social.
don't want to go through this again.
Okay, number 35, case number
Am I done?
103-231.
Yeah, you're done.
Yes, sir. Have a happy holiday, sir.
Yes, you too.
35, case number 103-231, 8559 South US Highway 1, Kilavani Properties Company. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Please speak in the microphone, name and address, please.
My name is Tony Profeta.
You can raise it up.
You can raise it up. It'll move up if you need
Just
to.
pull it up.
My name
higher.
is Andrew Russo.
Address?
Home address is 2003 Captain's Way, Jupiter, Florida.
Okay. And your address, sir?
8206 Santa Clara Boulevard in Fort Pierce, Florida, 34951.
Thank you very much, sir.
Raise your right hand.
Okay, Mr. Cicio?
No, you gotta be
Oh,
sworn
excuse
in.
me.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I'm getting out of. Okay, if you just bear with us, we're going to have Mr. Cicio, and then we'll be with you folks.
For the record, I'm submitting a total of 3 photos, 2 taken on August 11th, 2020 by Chief Building Inspector Dave Johnson and 1 taken by me on August 11th, 2020. On August 11th, 2020, I found the property located at 8559 South US Highway 1 in Port St. Lucie to be in violation of Section 11.05.01, building without a permit. A permit is required for the roof repairs installation. A notice of violation was mailed, which gave a compliance date of August 25th, 2020. After receiving no compliance, a notice to appear before the December 2nd, 2020 Code Enforcement Board was sent by certified mail to the property owner, which was delivered and signed for on September 17th, 2020. As of 12/1, no contact has been made and no permit has been applied for or issued, and the property remains in violation.
Okay, gentlemen, it's your turn. What's going on?
So hi, I'm a roofing contractor, and I was hired by the owner here to stop the leaks on the building. What I did on the picture you see here is I did liquid tar, and I applied that on, and because that fills in every nook and cranny of any leaks you have, and then I put granulars on there, so I know it looks like the roofing is cracked and what have you, but it's not.
But
what you did is not the issue.
That's not the word, the
What
permit.
do you mean?
Did you get a permit?
You don't need a permit. You don't need a permit to recoat a roof.
Is that right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
that's
All right, just-
actually right.
Okay, Mr. Harvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doug Harvey, building official. If more than 25% of an area of the roof is redone, then under the current edition of the building code, the entire section that is, or area, we break roofs into areas such as with hips, or a flat roof versus a pitched roof, the different areas of the roof, we break them into sections. And if more than 25% of either the entire roof or any particular section is repaired, then the entire roof is required to be repaired. And I believe in this case that we did exceed that based on what I was told, and a permit is required for the roof repair.
But you don't need a permit to recode. Oh, sorry.
Don't get too close.
Sorry, sir.
No, that's all right.
And ladies,
No.
you don't need a permit to recode a roof. If you're stripping that roof or something like that, we never took anything off. The only thing we found was there was somebody there putting peel and stick on, wasn't supposed to do it, but we removed that and we just put liquid tar down. That's all we did. You don't need a permit to recoat a roof, even if it's 20%, 40%. We're not working on that roof. We're applying a coat. You don't need a permit for that.
Now, what areas you're here in Fort Pierce, correct?
Yes.
And you're a roofing contractor?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. So
Since 2005.
Since 2005.
Yes.
So if you're just coating it, and we're just here as
I
listening as
understand. Yes, sir.
individual people, and now then we're listening to Mr. Harvey, who is a building official for St. Lucie County, who handles all of that. And you're telling us one thing, and the gentleman here that's certified is telling us something else.
He's wrong.
He is?
When he says you have to define what he has to define what he means when you say if it's over 20%, because with his definition of what 20% is, right, the percentages are, I don't think we did over 20%, first of all, but second of all, even if we did, we didn't cut that roof out. We didn't put any insulation more. We didn't do any kind of construction to that roof. That's a whole different thing than saying we constructed on that roof.
Mr.
So,
Chairman.
Okay,
Mr.
sir,
Chairman, please.
yes.
I have to ask you, I've forgotten your name, I'm sorry.
Tony.
Tony.
Tony Profeta,
Tony.
ma'am. Yes.
Mr. Sissio has testified that you've had absolutely no contact with him regarding the work that you've done. We're not here to satisfy arguments between the two of you. The two of you need to work this out. And when you have no contact with a violation, whether you're the owner or the builder, one of you should have been talking to Mr. Sissio to find out what's going on, why he has contacted you, and what you need to do to make it right. But if you think that I'm going to sit here and have you tell me what this county's code is when we've got a building official who lives and breathes and practically writes this business, the building code.
Oh, really? You think that makes him, he's going to know all the codes?
I think he's a little more qualified than you are.
He doesn't know all the codes, I
Okay, well,
guarantee
then
you
you
that.
need to be debating this with him, not in front of us.
I'm not debating anything. I'm just telling you what the code is. You don't need a permit to put liquid tar on a roof.
The man just testified
No, he doesn't.
that you
He's
do.
wrong. He's absolutely wrong.
Okay, well, that's the
Absolutely.
problem that I can't solve for you.
I'm just telling you, he's absolutely wrong. It doesn't matter what he.
I
We're not,
disagree,
we
sir.
didn't do no construction on the roof.
Okay,
But you haven't talked to him about what you've done. That's
I
your
did.
job.
I came over here when we first got the violation to a gentleman down in the building department that they moved over to the corner of the other building. They moved it, and I did go in there because they put a stop order on the project. It said the owner needs to get a licensed roofer over there because some other guys were working on it. They weren't taking anything apart in the first place anyhow.
Are you a licensed roofer?
Yes.
Okay.
So so they had somebody working on that roof. Then I got a call. We need a licensed roofing contractor on this building. I said, okay. So I went down to the building department over there, and a gentleman came out and told me, yeah, he needs a licensed contractor, roof contractor on that building. That's why we read that. I said, okay. So when I went up and looked at it, I said, okay, to help the owner, because a new roof is expensive, I said, here's an option we can do. We can put liquid tar down. You don't need a permit for no liquid tar. I'm telling you right now, and he's wrong.
Okay, all right, very good. Mr. Harvey, would you want to enter into this conversation, or you want to just leave it like it is, and we'll go forward? Can you help?
I don't know how far the board would like me to go into it. I don't want to get overly technical, but when we apply materials to roofs, we look at the specification for the material that is going to be applied to ensure that that material is compatible with the existing roofing materials. Not all materials are compatible with all other roofing materials.
Okay.
If there is an exception to liquid tar that I am not aware of, I am more than happy to work with this contractor so that he can show me the section of the code that says that that is not necessary. I believe that there was testimony given early in his statement that said he was removing peel and stick that was put down by another contractor. That represents roofing work.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman?
All right, so we are where we are. Yes, sir, the owner?
Well, I'm actually the manager, but what can we do to take care of this?
What can we-
All this quarreling isn't taking care of anything.
No,
What
it isn't
needs
taking
to-
care of
What
anything,
needs to
and,
be done?
and what we have to have a permit.
All right.
This county's requiring a permit for you people to have before you go further on the work on that building. And we need to know how long it's gonna take you to get the permit, if you need 30 days.
Mr. Chairman, we got two different opinions here from two different people that need to sit down and figure it out before we make a decision. I suggest we give them 30 days, continue this case for 30 days, let them go in the boxing ring and work it out.
Whatever, just, but we've got a lot going on, so let's go ahead and.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Mr.
Catherine
Pancos.
Barbieri was trying to get your attention.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to let the board know that Mrs. Monahan is correct. If he has a dispute with the building official on interpretation of the code, this is not the board for it. We
That's
do
right.
have boards. We have the Construction Licensing Board of Adjustment and Appeal, and we have the Board of Adjustment. Depending on what the dispute is, those are where the appeals go. But they do have to come in and talk to us, and if there's a dispute on the interpretation of the code, we will take it to another board. We've done that before. We know how to handle that.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, dear. Okay.
Yeah, we could,
All right.
I can talk to the gentleman here, whatever they tell me to do. If they want us to get a permit, I'll get the permit. If they want us to do a new roof, I'll do a new roof.
Well,
Whatever
it's
they-
not going that far, but just, we're just trying to get through this and make sure.
I have a
But-
motion.
Yes.
I hereby move in reference to case number 103231 that the Code Enforcement Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, we determine the violation in fact did occur and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by February the 1st, 2021, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. A cost of $200 has been imposed as a cost for prosecuting this case. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month, after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m. or as soon thereafter as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by,
That's not enough time for us.
okay.
That's not enough
That's,
time for us, because if we need to do a re-roof, if the,
Sir, you've had
You-
since
you got-
August,
you've had
August the
your
11th
time.
of
We made the
2020.
motion, now you're gonna have to work with it, and if you have any questions, go back, get with staff, just talk to staff, talk to people. Don't say I went over here or went there, talk to people. These people, we're all here to help, believe it or not. We're here to
you're
help.
not giving us enough time, because if I
And
gotta
it,
go get an
they're-
engineer to
you
do
got-
paperwork on a commercial building.
You've got till
it's not enough
February.
time.
6 months.
And it's,
6 months. you've
What's
had.
6 months?
6 months since this
From
whole
this
thing
point
started.
on?
6 months from August the 11th
Okay,
is when this started, that you've chose
No,
to
we
ignore
had
it and have
6
had no
months.
contact with whoever sent it to you. We have a motion.
oh yes, we have a motion and a
Second.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign?
Opposed?
Okay. You opposed,
We
Mr.
just
Murdo?
don't have enough time to get an engineer and all that. I need at least another month.
Okay.
Work with staff. They're here to help you. Work with the staff.
Okay.
I think this is done.
Yeah,
It
you're
is.
done, you're done, guys, that's it. Number 37, case number 103485, 7604 Ocala Avenue, Fort Pierce, Florida, Edwin A. Kyle. Mr. Kyle? Okay. 38, case number 1062 has been removed. We are on 39, case number 100-371, 2006 North 50th Street, Fort Pierce, Florida, Cynthia A. Farr. You didn't go to sleep on us back there, did you? All right, come on up here.
I'm not gonna make the end of this. I gotta go. I'm not making the end of this.
Name and address?
Okay, please state your name and address.
Michael Farr for Cynthia Farr, 2006 North 50th Street, Fort Pierce, Florida.
Okay, raise your right hand.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you just bear with us, we're going to hear from Ms. Moisey, and then we'll be with you, sir. Yes, ma'am, good morning.
Good morning. For the record, I am submitting 3 photos dated January 21st, 2020, 1 photo dated February 10th, 2020, 3 photos dated November 20th, 2020, 2 photos dated November 30th, 2020. During my first inspection, I found a property located at 2006 North 50th Street in violation for Section 3.01.03J, residential single family. The commercial ramp/car lift is not allowed in residential zoning. Please remove. Section 7.10.14C, industrial equipment prohibited. Please remove the commercial/industrial ramp, car lift, and heavy equipment from the property. And for Section 38-26 for outside storage. I issued a letter and gave a compliance date of February 5th, 2020. After getting no compliance, a notice to appear letter for the December 2nd, 2020 Code Board meeting was issued on September 14th, 2020. I have had contact with the owner's son in the past. As of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Okay, very good. Sir, looks like you're running a business at your home.
No, sir.
All right, please explain.
That ramp right there is for my personal use.
Okay. All right, what about these other cars and all this other repair work being done
All
here?
cars there is mine. It's mine in my name.
Okay. So you're not running a business
No,
in
everything
residential?
you see there is in my name.
Okay.
Are they all plated?
Sir? Yes, sir. At the time that BMW was there, I was to do some undercarriage work on my own vehicle. And she came in and take that picture at that time. It's not on there no more.
So if
I'm driving that vehicle right now.
Okay, so if you was cited, or if they took pictures back in January of 2020 on this, and you got information to us, why didn't you get with staff or Ms. Boise and say, you made a mistake here, this is not true?
I have a letter here where when she first issued me a citation of the building and all that stuff, and auto storage with the vehicle and stuff. So we went through that process with her where I ripped the building down. I take it completely down. She came and tested all the cars. They moved back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Then when she came back there, then she wrote me another citation again. Say, I got a ramp. The ramp was there when she first wrote me the first citation.
Use the microphone. Use the microphone.
The ramp was there when she wrote me the first citation of when I ripped all the building down.
Okay.
So I'm saying, why you never write the citation of that frame machine at that time? Then she wrote me one for that. Then she wrote me for garbage that we have to put out on the side of the road for it to be picked up. I said, why you write me a citation? That's where we put the garbage for the garbage man to pick it up. So, so she sent me a letter on make sure I got the right letter here. She sent me a letter here on May the 22nd. Please accept this letter from St. Lucie County Court Enforcement that my citation has been taken care of. I bring the property up to, then I got another letter, say I got to be here.
This is a commercial lift. This is a commercial lift in a residential area,
no,
sir.
But I'm saying to her, the statute that she's using and I just learned that I have another board that I can go to when I was listening here, if I have a disagreement with how they interpret
Okay.
the statutes. I didn't know that, so now I
Okay.
just learned that just a minute ago.
So you've been,
I'm gonna take advantage of that at that
Okay.
board.
That's fine, but in the meantime, you have this here in front of us, and we have to make a decision on whether there's a violation or not on what you
And
said
what
and what she did.
What I'm intend to do, after that whole issue with the building, I decided to build a shed.
Okay?
A complete one. Let us put everything inside the shed that she can't say out of store storage.
All you gotta do is make sure and get your permitting.
Right, now, I went
Okay.
to this building here, they call, that I'm intending to go see it, cause I put in this, they call it CCI building thing here. I paid them the money. They said that when I paid them the money, I paid them, what date here?
But, sir, all of that doesn't matter.
Right, but
to
I'm
us.
just telling you what the
Okay.
process I'm doing
And-
here.
And that was probably a good move
Right,
for
yeah,
you.
I'm gonna enclose everything.
Yeah, but just
Yeah,
make
I'm gonna
sure
do
that you get
yeah.
your permitting now.
Yeah,
right
they're
now
gonna do
you're
all
in-
that.
Right now, you're in violation,
Yeah,
and we
they're
need to make
gonna
a
do that,
decision.
but I'm intent to go to that board that they just told this lady that if we have a
Okay.
dispute with code, out of the Turpin code and what commercial property and commercial equipment is.
Okay.
I go to that board, so I'm intent to take advantage of that.
So you'll be able to have all this straightened out in 60 days, right?
I think we have a full understanding.
In the
of that.
meantime, he's got a violation and I have a motion.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, for the
Well,
record,
I'd like to see some, those pictures, run the pictures back again.
and also for the record, I'd like to state that he did say he had to tear down a building. So this ramp on the previous case was not, seen from the road, so obviously it had to be
In the
in
building,
that structure that
in the
he
structure
tore
that he
down.
had
Yes,
before.
sir.
Can we go back to that picture
let's
back in
go
the
back
day
to some
when
other
we first take
pictures.
the first initial picture,
This case?
the previous case?
I don't have that information, sir.
If I knew she was gonna say that, I'd have brought that with me. Because after the first incident, I went to that gentleman right there and asked him, and I showed the picture. If that, and he said, well, I need to go sit down and talk to them before we had that, what do you call that meeting we had at the office? Where we discussed everything. So he said, I don't see no problem with it. So I said, okay, we'll go to the meeting then.
Okay.
So I know that I have to go to the board that she just talked about and just have a discussion to see where I'm at. But I
Okay.
ain't gonna build
Very good.
that thing to
You-
solve that issue that what she
Yes,
had.
you presented your case, we understand it, we're hearing you talk, but we have to make a decision here.
Yeah.
And, Ms. Monahan?
Yes, sir. I hereby move in reference to case number 100371 that the Code Enforcement Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, we determine the violation in fact did occur and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by February the 15th, 2021, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. A cost of $200 has been imposed as a cost for prosecuting this case. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month, after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m. or as soon thereafter as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violations are not abated by the given compliance date.
Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Pankos did. Didn't you?
Oh, Mr. Pankos, you
Yeah.
seconded? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, sir, you've been given till February 15th. Have a nice holiday.
How do I get to
Okay.
get to that board that they discuss here? What I need to do to get to
What,
that
talk
board?
to staff
Talk to
here, and
Ms.
they can.
Moyes, she'll
and
talk to you
she'll-
about
She'll
it.
help
All
you
right,
out,
thank you.
okay?
They're here to
Yeah.
help.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have to go. I'm sorry to leave you, but
Okay. You can be,
I've got to go run a
Miss-
business.
Ms. Monahan can be excused.
Thank you.
All right, we're on number 40, case number 10454, 2705 Avenue S, Fort Pierce, Florida, Maria Prowse LLC.
And Mr. Chairman, the board, the last section is abated on that case.
That's been abated?
The last section.
The last section has
Yes.
been abated. Yes, is there anybody here representing them? I guess not. Okay, we're going to 41, case number 10961 has been abated. 42, case number 102371 has been removed. 43, case number 102854 has been abated. 44, case number 103408, 1920 North 44th Street, Fort Pierce, Florida. Anthony L. Gordon Sr. You got your paperwork that marked. Did you mark yours? Oh, I guess I did. I got it. Yes, would you please state your name and address?
Aisha Hurd Gordon, 1920 North 44th Street, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34947.
Okay, and you can pull that down a little bit if you'd like. There you go, perfect. Would you
Alrighty.
please raise your right hand and,
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
okay, we're just gonna have Miss Boise and then we'll be with you, okay? Yes, ma'am.
For the record, I am submitting one photo dated August 19th, 2020, one photo dated September 4th, 2020, and two photos dated November 30th, 2020, which shows exterior work was done to the front of the property, and also new doors were put on the home. During my first inspection, I found a property located at 1920 North 44th Street in violation for Section 11.05.01, Building and Sign Permit, to obtain a permit for the new doors, for the work being done to the exterior of the house, and for the small structure on the property. I issued a letter and gave a compliance date of September 2nd, 2020. After getting no compliance, a notice to appear letter for the December 2nd, 2020 Code Board meeting was issued on September 4th, 2020. I have had contact with the owner in the past. As of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Okay, very good. Are you in violation or are you not?
I am.
You are?
I am.
Good.
I've been working with people in the next building downstairs. I think that's where permitting. And for the doors, I had to go back to the place where we got them and get a 9-page product code. And for the stuff on that small structure, I had to get that to create the packet, 2 copies, and submit it downstairs. So I picked that product code up this morning at 7.
Okay.
So I'll be submitting that.
Okay, so you're working on it, you need some time to finish it.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, so you're talking probably, let's see, this happened in September?
I would say 60 days or less. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be submitting this stuff in the morning.
Okay, so you're talking probably 30 to 60 days?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. Looking for a motion, maybe?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we continue case number 103408 until the February 3rd meeting.
February
2021.
Okay. Second by Mr. Taylor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, you've got till February 3rd.
Thank you.
Okay, but don't wait till the last thing.
She has another case. There's another case for that property.
Oh, there is?
Yes.
Another case, companion?
Case number 102910.
The last
Oh,
section.
okay. Case number 102910910, 1920 North 44th Street, Anthony L. Gordon Sr. Okay, you've got, let me see, 3 sections of that. The first 3 sections have been abated. All you have is the last section with the debris and such as that. Do you have, Ms. Boise, can you show us pictures?
We have outside storage and also the shed that still needs a permit. So there's 2 sections still current that has not been corrected. And
Okay.
yes, for the record, I am submitting 2 photos dated August 19, 2020. The photos before you show the outside storage and the shed that is unpermitted, that is on the property. 1 photo dated September 4th, 2020. 1 photo dated November 20th, 2020. And 5 photos dated November 30th, 2020, which shows the property is still in violation. During my first inspection, I found a property located at 1920 North 44th Street in violation for Section 38-26 for outside storage, Section 11.05.01, Building and Sign Permits, to obtain a permit for the shed. I issued a letter and gave a compliance date of September 2nd, 2020. After getting no compliance, a certified notice to appear letter for the December 2nd, 2020 Code Board meeting was issued on September 4th, 2020. I have had contact with the owner. As of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Okay, so what are we doing here, ma'am?
As we speak, my husband's home getting that stuff up and he's removing some of the boats. And because it's not been raining lately, the yard guy that comes and helps him will be coming and helping him. That other stuff will be cleaned up. So.
Okay, all the trash and things like that. Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
And I spoke with her today in regards to the boat motors and stuff.
Okay,
So that'll be rectified as well.
okay, very good.
So
We're
you
looking
just
for
need
a
a little
motion,
more time,
please.
right?
I'm sorry?
You just need a little more time, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion.
Yes, sir.
In case number 102910, I move that we continue this case to the February 3rd meeting.
February 3rd also, okay. All right. Second by Mr. Taylor, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, 46, case number 103074, 1732 Old FFA Road. Elisa Hortesh de Leon Maldonado. Are they here?
And Mr. Chairman and the board, the first section is abated.
Excuse me?
The first section is abated on that case.
Yes, the first section on that is abated. Okay, are they not here? Maldonado? I guess not. Okay.
That looks like it.
Okay, now that's the end of the violation hearings. Go ahead, my person that reads them off is not there. Did anybody write them down? Which ones they were? Okay, the first one, can we have the hall sounded, please? If I might miss one of these, Jack, so you need to help me out here.
I will.
Case number 398007, 55159 Happiness Street, Susan K. Deverix. Number 6, case 10149, 3250 St. Lucie Boulevard, STB Runways and LLC. Case number, let's see, there's 5 in a row here, I believe. Case number 103202, 3200 St. Lucie Boulevard, STB Runways and LLC. Case number 1064, 3200 STB Runways and LLC. And I think is that the end of those, I believe, on that one?
We got case number 9.
Yeah, number 9, 10147, 3200 Central Boulevard, Alamorada Beer Company, LLC. And then number 10, 103206, 3200 Alamorada Beer Company, LLC. Okay, and they're moving right along. Let's see if I got anything. I believe the next one is number 21, if that's correct, 103952, Daniel Robert Matson. I think the next one is 24, 102452, Raymond T. Case. I think 26 is the next one, 102808, Brian Haddon. I think the next one is 27, case number 103466, Mario Gil Villagomez. Number 30, case number 101771, Shane Broken. I think the next one is case number 103485, Edwin A. Kyle. I believe the next one is 40, case number 100454, Mary Prowse, LLC. And I think the next one is 46, case number 103074, that's the Hotel de Leon Madonna. His number is the last one on that, is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much, sir. And have the halls been sounded?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. So need a motion, please, Mr. Taylor?
I have a motion. I hereby move into reference cases read into the record that the Code Enforcement Board enter an order to find these alleged violators are in default as they did not appear to protest the violations against them, and that the board adopt the recommendations of staff as set forth on the agenda.
A second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose like sign. Okay, now we are going to fine hearings. Number one, case number 97860 has been abated. Number two, case number 99727, 3800 Oleander Avenue, Angled Property Investments LLC. Yes.
And Mr. Chairman, number 3 is a companion case.
Number three?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on just a moment.
All three of them are together, actually, number 1, 2,
Oh,
and
that's
3.
a fine hearing. Okay. And then case number 99728, 3800 Oleander Avenue, all auto body. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Okay. Are those the only two?
Yes.
I believe they are. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Attorney Roy Milner on behalf of Angle Road is the owner and the tenant, All Auto Body. I was here before y'all back in August, and I thought there would be absolutely no reason why I couldn't have had this all wrapped up in that period of time. But between the COVID and just things getting lost, had the plan submitted, and then they disappeared into thin air. But whatever, it didn't matter. We got it rolling. The and I thought I was losing my mind, actually, but I believe the first case with getting the permit for doing the zoning and the paint booth was
Excuse
basically
me.
the
Can
zoning.
I interrupt you for a
I'm
minute?
sorry.
Can I hear from Matthew first, and then?
I apologize.
No,
I'm
that's all right.
jumping the
You're
gun.
okay. I understand, sir. It's been a tough morning.
Been sitting in the back.
Yeah.
so-
Matthew, please, sir.
Good morning. For the record, I am resubmitting two photos dated July 27th, 2020, and I am also submitting 4 photos, 2 photos dated November 11th, 2020, and 2 photos dated November 30th, 2020. This case was brought to the August 5th Code Board hearing and found a default violation of 11.05.00, procedure for obtaining development permits, obtaining a zoning compliance permit. The board gave a default compliance date of November 30th, 2020. I have had contact with the owner, and there is a written request for a 30-day extension. And as of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation. I also spoke to this gentleman here this morning.
Mr. Milner? Yes.
Yep, and he explained that, he's just looking for a 30-day extension.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yes, sir. Now, okay, sir.
Back to my rhetoric. Basically, the horse before the cart and the cart before the horse. Getting the price. I didn't want to get any more work done, since we didn't have a permit to do any further work. So that didn't want to have another violation, and so we couldn't do any of the work for the last 3 months until we get the permit. Got the permit literally the day after I asked for the extension, because that was what I was more concerned about initially. Once that work is done, which I'm hoping is going to be done, and I've got the builder on it like as we speak, to get it done. Once we get it done and it gets a CO, we give that to zoning, and then zoning takes care of these other 2 issues, which is one's the tenant, one's the owner. So all 3 of them kind of flow together, but it couldn't really deal with the zoning compliance until I've got the CO done for the building, the paint booth.
Okay. So what's the time frame you think that you have?
I'm praying 30 days, but it's just like these holidays have just about
60?
killed everything in the world.
At least
so
60
I mean,
probably,
60 would
90?
definitely. I'm pushing for the end of this year just because. And then,
Okay.
as I said, we've dealt with the fire marshal. Paint booth's been inspected by them. It's been approved. We've got the mail at fire inspections is inspected every 6 months. I mean, so we're very serious about health and safety issues from that standpoint. But
Okay, we're going to have to make a motion here, but we can see if we can't get the board to adjust it a little bit to try to.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we
Chairman.
continue this case number 99727 until the February 3rd, 2021 board meeting.
Let's see, January, February, yeah, that should be time enough, shouldn't it, sir?
it's not. I'm
That
gonna
gives them
retire
too
as
much,
lawyer.
January and December.
Yeah. Okay, to the February 3rd?
I'm not telling anybody that, so hopefully don't publish that. I'm just going to tell them it's still going to be done this month.
I second
Keep
it.
the fire going.
Second by Richard. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's on
Do you have
that
a
one.
comment?
You
Now,
gotta do
this-
the other ones, right?
Now, the other one is case number 99728, which is all auto body, which is basically the same thing. And
Mr. Chairman, I move in case number 99728 that we continue this until the February 3rd, 2021 board meeting.
Okay, do we have a second? Richie, you second again?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. We are sorry to have to keep you here this long.
No,
for this
it's like, well, I always bring extra work, because
Oh,
it's like, so, oh, yeah.
oh, on our time you've been-
I sit in the back,
Oh,
so I'm like,
on-
I'm doing work for
Oh,
other
on
people.
our time, you're doing extra work, sir?
No,
I'm
on
only
your
saying that,
time.
kidding.
That's why I don't complain in the back.
Have a nice holiday and enjoy.
You
and
guys,
thank-
yes, ladies and gentlemen, have a
Thank you
good
so
holiday.
much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, number 4, case number 99960, 2218 North 42nd Street, Elliot Holland Jr., Melinda Isabel Holland. Okay, folks, we're looking for Ms. Moise, please.
And Mr. Chairman, the board, the last section is abated.
It is.
Yes.
The last session, yes. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. One moment.
99960.
Alrighty. For the record, I am resubmitting 7 photos dated December 5th, 2019, 1 photo dated January 3rd, 2020, 1 photo dated July 27th, 2020, 1 photo dated August 4th, 2020, and I am submitting 1 photo dated November 30th, 2020. This case was brought to the August 5th, 2020 Code Board meeting for Section 11.05.01, Building and Sign Permits, to obtain a permit for the exterior work being done to the front of the home. The property's owner, Representative Sean Morgan, was present. At that meeting, the board found the property in violation and gave a compliance date of November 30th, 2020. I have had contact with the owner in the past. As of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation.
And this started back in 2019.
Yes.
The beginning date. Okay.
year.
We're looking for a motion. Any questions from any of the board? If not, we're looking for a motion. Mr. Pancoast, are you in line?
That would be.
I've got a motion. I hereby move in reference to case number 99960 that the Code Enforcement Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts in the case, the testimony and report of staff, the violation still exists. Having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, we make the following determination. A fine of up to $250 per day shall be imposed.
The maker of the motion, not up to.
A
This is a
fine
fine
of
hearing, so you
200
have to have an exact
Yeah,
amount.
a fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists starting December 1st, 2020. Maximum fine not to exceed $5,000.
Second.
Second by Mr. Taylor. Mr. Murdoch?
Do one.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, very good. Number 5, case number 99487 has been abated. We are going to number 6 on fine hearings. Excuse me. Wait a minute. Going to number 6, the case 99842, 3307 Avenue J, Fort Pierce, Florida. Robert J. Wiley and Desiree Wiley. Okay, Ms. Moisey, please.
For the record, I am resubmitting 1 photo dated December 2nd, 2019, 1 photo dated January 16th, 2020, 1 photo dated July 27th, 2020, 2 photos dated August 4th, 2020, and I am submitting 2 photos dated November 2nd, 2020, 1 photo dated November 30th, 2020. This case was brought to the September 2nd, 2020 Code Board meeting for Section 11.05.01, Building and Sign Permits, to obtain a permit for the sheds. The property owner's representative, David Cleveland, was present at that meeting. The board found the property in violation and gave a compliance date of October 30th, 2020. At the November 4th, 2020 fine hearing meeting, the owner was not present. The board made a decision to continue the case to the December 2nd, 2020 fine hearing meeting. There are currently 2 shed permits pending in the system. 1 shed permit has been issued, and 1 demolition permit for a shed has been issued. I have had contact with the owner's representative, David Cleveland. As of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Okay, am I getting this straight, that permits have been applied and are pending?
Yes.
So these people just need a little more time.
Well, they continued it from the last meeting. I know.
Yeah, we already gave them 2 months.
Well,
we gave them 2 months to do
we're
something.
waiting on staff to issue the permits, aren't we?
Well, staff is waiting on
Yes, sir,
them.
Mr. Harvey.
Sorry, Merlandi. Doug Harvey, building official. It may please the board to know that we have been working with the representative on this. It's kind of been a long, hard battle, and things have been at a standstill for the last couple of months. There's been no progress made on their end in regard to information that we need in order to be able to get the permits submitted. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I thought I heard in your testimony that permits were issued. Is that, you're saying there's permits applied for but not issued yet?
Permits are applied for. If I use the word issued, I apologize. It was a misstatement on my part. Permits are pending, and there were issues on the permits that did not allow us to go ahead and get them all issued, and they've been at a standstill for the last couple of months.
There have been some permits issued?
If I may confer with Mr. Durden for just a moment, our Chief Plans Examiner. The permits that have been issued were for demolition and relocation of sheds. Those are the permits that have been issued.
Okay, all right.
But nothing's happened.
Okay.
No, sir.
So this violation here, they're not responding to your request for additional information. Is that what I'm getting?
Yes, sir. We need additional information and we need action on their part, and it's not happening.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion.
Yes, sir.
I hereby move, in reference to case number 99842, that the Code Enforcement Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violations still exist, and having considered the gravity of the violations, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, we make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting November 7th, 2020, with a maximum fine not to exceed $5,000.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second by, I don't know who did it. Richard, you did?
Yep.
Okay. By Mr. Pancoast, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, would you do the companion case, please, sir? Case number 98892,
Dana's gonna do it.
3307 Avenue J. Yes.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. We switch it up sometimes on you guys.
Going back and forth here, and
Absolutely.
You do that just to confuse us, don't you?
We do. We like me and Murph. We look identical. I get it all the time.
This has been a wonderful day, hasn't
I
it?
get it all the time.
It's 2020.
But it's going out with us.
Yes, so for case 98892, for the record, I am resubmitting a total of 10 photos. Here you see the original status of the home back in 2007. You're looking towards the right side of the photo where there is no addition to the side. And that's from the St. Lucie County Property Appraiser, dated February 18, 2010, taken by Officer Swartzel, where they had done work unauthorized, where they added an addition, and then they did end up removing it.
Then 2 dated March 2nd, 2020, where they put it back up. And 2 dated August 3rd, 2020, again showing renovations to the home where they changed from being a garage door to those double French doors, the addition on the side of the single family, along with the windows, doors, bars, all those things. 2 dated August 28th, 2020, and 2 dated November 2nd, 2020. I am submitting 2 new photos dated November 30th, 2020. I found 3307 Avenue J to be in violation of 110501, building without a permit for the windows, doors, and renovation to the porch and the garage. I issued a notice of violation letter on August 7th, 2019, gave a compliance date of August 23rd, 2019. This case came before December 2019 Code Board meeting where Mr. Cleveland, the design professional for the property owner, was present to represent the property. He requested additional time to address issues with the property in order to obtain necessary permits for the work completed. The Code Board continued the case to the August 5th, 2020 Code Board meeting. At the August 5th, 2020 Code Board meeting, Mr. Cleveland had submitted an email request for a 30-day extension to allow for processing of a permit submitted on July 27, 2020. The board granted that continuance to the September 2nd, 2020 Code Board meeting. The case presented at the September 2020 Code Board meeting where Mr. Cleveland was present and discussed how the property owner had changed his decision and will be demolishing the addition to the residence instead of permitting it. He would have to still permit any changes to the garage, interior or exterior. The board found the case in violation, gave a compliance date of October 30th. A demolition permit was issued on October 26th for the addition to the residence. A permit for the garage renovations has still not been filed at this time. The case presented at the November 6th, 2020 fine hearing where no one was present to represent the case. The Code Board continued this case to the December 2nd, 2020 fine hearing to allow time for the demolition and for the garage renovation permit to be obtained. I have had contact with the property owner, Mr. Wiley, and his design professional, Mr. Cleveland, on how to correct the violations. However, as of December 2nd, 2020, the property remains in violation as the demolition of the addition has not been started nor completed, and a permit for the garage renovations has not been applied or issued.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion.
Yes, sir, please.
In reference to case number 98892, I hereby move, or I should say I hereby move in reference to case number 98892, that the Code Enforcement Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violations, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation and any previous violation, we make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting November the 7th, 2020, with a maximum fine not to exceed $5,000.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pancoast. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Number 8, case number 103-09-249-12, Palo Pines Circle, Fort Pierce, Florida. Michael T. Conley. Ms. DeFrancisco.
For the record, I am submitting a total of 14 photos, 5 dated July the 31st, 2020, where you see overgrowth on the property. In the next photo, you see sheets that the property owner has hung around his property. And then in the next photo, you will see this large tree is a pepper tree that is right alongside of his neighbor's property, so well within the 10 feet. So one is dated September 23rd, 2020, one dated September 25th, 2020, 3 dated November 9th, 2020, and 3 dated December 1st, 2020. The case was brought to the October 7th, 2020 Code Board meeting and found in default violation of Section 3897 for overgrowth, Section 3826 for the outside storage of hung fabrics and sheets, and Section 7.09.05 to remove or trim back the exotic vegetation 10 feet from the neighboring property. The board gave a default compliance date of November 6, 2020. I have had no contact with the property owner as of December 1st, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Thank you very much. We're looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion.
Yes, sir.
I hereby move in reference to case number 103092 that the Code Enforcement Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violations, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation and any previous violation, we make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting November the 7th, 2020, with a maximum fine not to exceed $10,000.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pankos. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Now we're going over to number 9, case number 102-686, 5175 Melville Road, Emerson, Abba. Yes, Josh?
Yes, sir.
Please. Good morning, sir. Is that you?
No, I'm Craig Bissett. I'm here for Emerson. Emerson's currently in got COVID and stuff like that, and in the quarantine, and so I'm currently here for him.
Well, the case is coming up now.
Yeah, that's why I'm here for him,
okay.
because he's in. Yeah, I'm here for him.
Okay.
My name's Craig Bissett.
Okay, then Ray, tell us your name. And
Craig
address.
Bissett. Craig Bissett.
Can you spell the last name?
Bisset.
Address?
My address? I live in Martin County.
That's all right.
Okay, 3044 Northeast Skyview Lane in Ocean Breeze,
Okay.
Florida.
Please raise your right hand.
Right hand.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be right with you. Josh, please.
Yes, sir. For the record, I am resubmitting 2 photos, a total of 2 photos, one dated June 23rd, 2020, and one dated October 5th of 2020. I am also submitting 1 new photo dated November 30th of 2020. This case was brought to the October 7th, 2020 Code Board meeting and found in default violation of section 11.05.01 for not having a permit for the structure. The case was found in default as no one was present to represent the property. The board gave a default compliance date of November 6, 2020. On November 5th, 2020, a permit was submitted and is still pending. As of December 2nd, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Okay, do you know why they didn't pick the permit up?
There was the surveyor, the survey that was submitted wasn't good enough. I have a new survey that I'm going to submit, and Emerson's been, like I said, in quarantine the last couple of weeks. He actually has COVID.
Yeah, this goes way back to November. and
No,
this
like
goes
I said,
way back.
October, I submitted the permit, or I think November 5th. The engineer, I picked up the engineer for paperwork for him.
Okay.
And submitted it with him, and that was submitted on,
Mr. Harvey?
it was submitted on November 5th. We got the drawings, and the engineer, we had an engineer, we sent a letter in, emailed the letter in, stating that the property was gonna be taken care of by the engineer. We submitted the permits, because that's when we got them on the 5th. We submitted them as soon as we got them, and then the other day, I had called to see what the status was, and there was a problem with zoning, as far as there was a zoning issue that needed to be, I drew it on a 4x8, a regular piece of paper. They wanted a full copy with a full-size scale. So when we submitted it incorrectly, so that was the reason. I have them in my truck to drop off. He had given them to me, Emerson. So I have them, I'm gonna run them over there. The other thing was, the original thing was, it was only gonna be a tarp over it and used as storage for the tractor, so the tractor and the boat didn't get wet and ruined, because he just bought a $20-something thousand tractor. And then that's why I had told Josh originally.
Yeah, so a permit shouldn't be, if he bought $20-some-odd tractor, a permit for a few bucks shouldn't be too much of a
No,
permit.
it wasn't, but the thing was, to do what we originally were gonna do with it, there's no permit, because you can't put a tarp, you're not gonna permit a tarp over a piece of wood.
Mr. Harvey, where are we at?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doug Harvey, building official. On 11/9 of 2020, there were 3 comments that were put in by zoning. As was stated, The submitted plot plan was not to scale. Submitted plot plan is missing rear setback. Minimum rear setback is 15 feet from the structure to the property line. And the third comment was application indicates a 22 by 30 pavilion, while the building plans indicate 30 foot, including 3-foot overhang on 2 sides by 32 foot. Application will need to be adjusted. On that date, those comments were provided to the owner, and then on November 30th, a status update was requested, and I believe that's what may have gotten the ball rolling again, so that now we are being provided with the additional information, if I understand the applicant
Okay.
correctly.
All right, so you get the extra information, right?
Yeah, I had
And
gotten
you're
it.
And you're familiar with all of this?
Yeah, I know some of it, like I said.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go with, like I said, I have the paperwork, because I called the other day about it and got the reason why the permit wasn't done yet.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion.
Yes, sir.
I move that we move case number 102686 to the February 3rd, 2021 board meeting. Second.
Okay. Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, you move to February 3rd. Make sure you get it all done before then.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a nice Christmas. Enjoy the holidays.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Number 10, case number 1031638, 74 Southeast Sierra Court, Port St. Lucie, Florida. Richard R. French Estate.
No one here?
Hey, Matthew. Monica's back there pacing.
Excuse me?
Back and forth. I said, Monica's back there pacing back and forth. I just didn't want her to think we didn't know she was there. Go ahead.
For the record, I'm resubmitting one photo dated August 3rd, 2020, and I'm submitting 3 new photos, 2 photos dated November 23rd, 2020, 1 photo dated November 30th, 2020. This case was brought to the August 5th Code Board meeting and found a default violation of 11.05.01, building without a permit. A permit is required for the above ground pool. The board found the property in default at the October 7th Code Board hearing. I had no contact with the owner. As of November 30th, 2020, the property remains a violation.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Murdoch?
I hereby move, in reference to case number 103163, that the Code Enforcement Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violations still exist, and having considered the gravity of the violations, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation and any previous violation, we make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violations exist, starting November the 7th, 2020, with a maximum fine not to exceed $5,000.
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Taylor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, we're on number 11, case number 97355, 220 Emerald Avenue, Fort Pierce, Florida. Gail S. Ivy. Ms. Boise.
Okay. For the record, I am submitting one photo dated January 4th. For the record, I am submitting one photo dated January 4th, 2019, one photo dated March 8th, 2019, one photo dated August 26th, 2020, and one photo dated October 5th, 2020. During my first inspection, I found the property located at 220 Emerald Ave. One moment. I apologize. I am reading the wrong
You're reading from the wrong.
summary. I apologize.
That's
I knew
perfectly
something
all right.
was wrong. I
It's
apologize.
2020, remember?
Start all over. For the record, I am submitting one photo dated January 4th, 2019, one photo dated March 8th, 2019, one photo dated August 26th, 2020, one photo dated October 5th, 2020, and one photo dated November 30th, 2020. This case was brought to the October 7th, 2020 Code Board meeting for section 11.05.01 to please obtain a permit for the shed. The property owner was not present. The board did find the property in default and gave a compliance date of November 6, 2020. The property owner's daughter, Summer, has been in contact with staff As of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Your contact with the daughter, has she said that they're making an effort to take care of the situation, or?
I have not been in direct contact with her, but I do know she has been in contact with staff. Based on the information provided to me, they are trying to remove the stuff out of the storage, the shed, so that they can go ahead and get it demoed.
Was this extended? Is this an extended?
No, it has not been extended.
All right. Mr. Murdoch?
I hereby move in reference to case number 97355 that the Code Enforcement Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts of this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation and any previous violation, we make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists starting January 6, 2021, with a maximum fine not to exceed $5,000.
Second.
Second by Mr. Taylor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, guys, we're on number 12, case number 10742, J Gardens Lane, Richard McCulloch, whatever. Ms. Moisey?
For the record, I am submitting four photos dated March 16th, 2020, one photo dated August 13th, 2020, two photos dated September 28th, 2020, two photos dated October 5th, 2020, one photo dated November 20th, 2020, and two photos dated November 30th, 2020. This case was brought to the October 7th, 2020 Code Board meeting for Section 38-26 for outside storage, Section 3.01.03J residential single-family zoning to cease the storing of vehicles and to remove the vehicles being stored on the vacant lot. The property owner was not present at that meeting. The board found the property in default and gave a compliance date of November 6, 2020. I have had contact with the owner in the past. As of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Have they made any comments as to whether they're working on this, or?
No, I've only had one contact directly with him. After that, I haven't heard from him.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I have a
Just
motion.
one question.
Oh.
Is it the same owner who owns the lot, the vacant lot also, as a homeowner?
This is a vacant lot. What it is, this is a home, a neighboring property.
Is it his property where the abandoned vehicles are? Does he own that property?
The vacant lot is his property.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Murdoch.
I hereby move in reference to case number 100742 that the Code Enforcement Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violations, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation and any previous violation, we make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting November 7th, 2020, with a maximum fine not to exceed $5,000.
Second.
Second, Mr. Taylor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. 100, okay. Number 13, case number 10773, 1109 South 33rd, Fort Pierce, Borrego Properties, LLC. Ms. Moisey?
For the record, I am submitting one photo dated February 28th, 2020, one photo dated August 27th, 2020, two photos dated September 25th, 2020, and one photo dated October 5th, 2020, and one photo dated November 19th, 2020. This case was brought to the October 7th, 2020 Code Board meeting for Section 11.05.00 to obtain a zoning compliance for the contractor business and for using the property as a storage facility. Section 42-103 to obtain a business tax receipt for the contractor business and storage facility. The property owner was not present at that meeting. The board found the property in default and gave a compliance date of November 6, 2020. I have had contact with the owner in the past. As of November 30th, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Okay. Is this property, just by chance, is this property a lease property or it's owned by the people that, do you know? Just a point of information, that's all. I'm not trying to delay this meeting any further than what it is already. And
From my own understanding, the owner is the one that is in this property right now.
Okay.
There's no tenant.
Right. Okay. Mr. Murdoch?
I hereby move in reference to case number 100773 that the Code Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violations still exist, and having considered the gravity of the violations, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation and any previous violation, we make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists starting November 2nd, 2020, with a maximum fine not to exceed $10,000.
Second.
Second by Mr. Taylor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, guys, so you're really gonna like this one. Last but not least, 14, case number 103220 has been abated. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. Chairman,
Hanging in for so
excuse
long.
Mr.
Wait a
Chairman,
minute,
We have another
addendum.
we have an
Oh,
addendum over
addendum.
here.
You just want it to last longer, don't you? Here I'm trying. Golly. Okay, addendum to December 20. This is case number 10568, 5001 Eder Avenue, Tiffany Roll.
Yes. And before you, there should be an email from the property owner, Ms. Rose, stating he is requesting an extension 90 days to 120 days due to her having COVID-19. So I'll go ahead and read the case into record. For the record, I am resubmitting 5 photos dated February 10th, 2020, 1 photo dated April 8th, 2020, 1 photo dated June 3rd, 2020, 4 photos dated August 10th, 2020, 4 photos dated August 28th, 2020, and 3 photos dated September 1st, 2020. And I am submitting 4 photos dated December 2nd, 2020. This case was brought to the September 2nd, 2020 Code Board meeting for Section 8.00.3, particular permitted accessory structures and uses to remove the cargo container, Section 38-26 for the unserviceable vehicles and outside storage. The property owner was present at that meeting. The board found the property in violation and gave a compliance date of November 30th, 2020. I have had contact with the owner. As of December 2nd, 2020, the property remains in violation.
Okay, I have a question. You said, what was the request she had?
She's asking for an extension, 90 to 120-day extension due to having COVID, and there should be a copy of the email that was emailed to me yesterday afternoon.
Okay, so and just for point of information for the board, if this has been since February 2020, had a whole year and it's like this, another 90 days isn't going to make a difference one way or the other, in my opinion, as a
Mr.
board
Chairman,
member.
I have a motion.
Yes, sir.
I hereby move in reference to case number 100568 that the Code Enforcement Board make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violations still exist, and having considered the gravity of the violations, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation and any previous violation, we make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting January 6, 2021, with a maximum fine not to exceed $5,000.
Second by Mr. Taylor. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now I think that's the end, and it.
And Mr. Chairman, just one thing.
Yeah. Wait a minute, wait a
Simple.
minute.
She had one a while ago,
No,
Mr. Chair.
No, for the record, our next meeting is January 6, 2021. For the record.
January 6, 2021.
is our next scheduled meeting, okay?
Okay,
Yeah,
very
we
good.
noticed that there was a typo.
So
on
listen,
the-
thank you, everybody. I know you've been just sitting there waiting for us to get through this with your help. And just have a nice holiday from myself, and I'm sure the board feels the same.
Amen to that.
Yep.
So in
Merry Christmas
2020
all.
will be over next time we talk to each other. Okay.
And the next time we meet, this year will be over. Thank God.
Thanks, Doug. Have a nice holiday. Now I gotta see if I can get up. Oh, shit.